Hello everyone! This is your favorite Murtad live once again. And today, one more time, we have our dear brother Lloyd with us, who is a handsome brother in Christ. Welcome. And our brother Lloyd is laughing, but he is good and he is handsome because Muhammad didn't like people like him. So, you know.
Right. Thank you, Adam. You always try to, I don't know, like you try to embarrass me a little bit every show.
Oh, come on, man. That's not embarrassment.
Good to be back. Good to be back on the channel. Thank you very much. Good to see you
Oh,
again.
thank you for coming. And as always, you bring up such nice topics. And the part one was marvelous. Marvelous because the real Muhammad was exposed there. And and the previous parts of the Sharia and the fiqh was also amazing, amazing teaching by you. God bless you for what you are doing. You're doing a great, awesome job. And very soon we are going to do the Gnostic and Gnosticism of Islam as well. But let's look at the
Okay.
real Muhammad part 2 today. And the people who have not seen the part 1, let me recap. It was about Muhammad, his marriage, the seeras of Muhammad, and how exalted you will see Muhammad in the later parts of the time after Muhammad. So Muhammad was exalted gradually. So Quran says something else, certain early hadiths and seerah says something else, the later seerahs and later things starts to add things. And that's where we are going to start from because some things were already said. So you guys who have not watched part 1, they are missing a great deal of information. So part 1 is already being watched for over 2500 times already. So if you haven't watched it, you have missed a lot. So please do watch it. I'm sharing the link in the live chat for that. And this is the part 2. Brother, the mic is yours.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Good to see you all again. It's 8 minutes after 10 p.m. here in Warsaw, Poland. So wherever you are, hope you're having a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support on the channel. 2,500 views on Adam's video is fantastic. So yes, as Adam said, the first video was about the Sirah, the Gospels of Muhammad, what they call the biographies, but really are the Gospels of Muhammad, where the Gospels try to make Muhammad into a divine being, a part of Allah. He's worshipped, and of course, he becomes the counterfeit Jesus. He is the competitor to Jesus. In fact, the replacement of Jesus. We went through a number of different sources. The links are in the description, and please look those up. I've also made in the chat. You will find a links on top, right at the top, to a whole folder that I made available of about 40 different biographies of Muhammad, where you can get all these miracles. Of course, the Muslims do claim that Muhammad had at least 300 authenticated miracles. He healed the sick, he healed the blind, he raised the dead. And I wonder where they got those ideas. I can't think of anybody who did that before Muhammad. Doesn't come to my mind. Adam, do you know of anyone besides Muhammad who healed the sick, healed the blind, and raised the dead?
Dude, I only think about one verse in Quran. I think it talks about Isa in the Quran who did all that. He even made a bird out of clay and then his blow into the bird of clay and made it like a real bird. So Quran actually
Yeah.
talks about Isa doing all that. How did they change Isa into Muhammad later?
I have no idea. But so guys, we'll see today how Muhammad slowly starts to morph into Jesus, becomes the counterfeit Jesus of Islam. And this is an aspect of Muhammad that is hidden from us. Muslims do not want us to read, want to know about these scriptures, because they obviously find them embarrassing. But also, they believe that there's Isa and Jesus, and Isa is the correct Jesus, the holy Jesus, and the Christian Jesus is either the servant of Satan or perhaps Satan himself, right? Because don't forget, Christianity is the Deen al-Batil, which is the religion of falsehood, the religion of Satan, because Batil is one of the names of Satan. Any comments, Adam? Then I'll jump back into the presentation.
Yeah, because you brought this up, so I'm gonna share something with the viewers. So this is the Quran and Jesus of Quran. You will not find any of these miracles for Muhammad in Quran. Quran chapter number 21 verse number 91. The Isa of Quran had a miraculous birth. The Quran chapter number 3 verse number 53. Our Lord, we have believed in what you revealed and followed the messenger Jesus, so register us among the witness to the truth. So he is the truth. Honor of Jesus. Allah said of Jesus, indeed I will take you and raise you to myself and purify you from those who disbelieve. This is the honor only given to Jesus, that he is dwelling with Allah. Not even Muhammad has been talked about Quran like this. Word of God. When the angel said, "O Mary, indeed we give you good tidings of a word from him. Kilimatu minhu. The word from him, whose name will be Messiah Isa. Messiah al-Masih, Isa, son of Mary. So he is the word of God. He's speaking from the cradle in Quran chapter number 3, verse number 46, when he was still a baby. Now he's a creator of life, curer of illness, resurrection of life, a messenger to the children of Israel. Indeed, I have come to you with a great sign from the Lord. I design from you. Design is the word al khalaq. So he created. So they made the word design, but the actual word in the Arabic is khalaq, and that word means create. For you from clay, a form of a bird, then I breathe into it, just like Allah breathed into clay Adam. The first Adam that Allah created, he created out of clay and then breathed into it, breathed it, and it became life. That is the same way Jesus gave life to a clay bird. And I cure the blind and leopard, and I give life to that by the permission of Allah. Permission does not have anything to do with the ability, it's the permission that he says. And Jesus said, I am doing anything, everything what the Father has given me, or what I have seen the Father doing, and I obey the Father fully. So that's not even a problem. It's a permission, it does not take the ability. So Quran is very clear on the subject that he did all of these miracles. When we talk about Muhammad, brother, do you know that in Quran there is not a single miracle of Muhammad?
Which is very true. However, I can show you the title of a book called 300 Authenticated Miracles of Muhammad, where Muhammad performs 300 miracles, including provide water coming out of his hands, enough for 1,000 people who didn't have water, feeding 1,000 people with a small pot of food. Muhammad striking a big rock larger than he was once with a spade, and the rock turns to sand. He heals the sick. He heals the blind. He heals. Yeah. So Muhammad is apparently, according to Islam, the greatest miracle worker that ever existed.
Wow. So, uh, when is this book written, brother?
Actually, then I can bring it up. Hold on, let me find it. Give me 1 second. I will get it. It'll just take me a moment to find it. There we
No
go.
worries, brother.
Okay, so this is it. I have it here. Let me just share my screen.
And let me bring it up.
Yep,
See?
so here we go.
And here we go. Wow.
So,
300 authentic miracles of Muhammad. Doesn't it looks like the movie 300, you know?
well, yes, so this is compiled by Badr Azimabadi, right? So this is reverence and worship of Muhammad, making Muhammad into a divine being that is not discussed commonly, right? So we can just skip forward. So here's a list of sources that they use, right? These books are a list of sources, right? The Sahih al-Sitta, right? Or Sihah
Mhm,
al-Sitta, and
mhm.
a whole bunch of these. So Al-Sirah al-Nabawiyya by Ibn Sham. So they actually use it as authentic. Ibn Kathir, right? And they have a bunch of other ones. So yeah, you'll find that they use the Sirah to prove Muhammad's divinity, right? So let's just jump into some random miracles. He split the moon. So this is authentic, right?
Oh,
His
he
victories,
split the moon.
yeah. Let's see, descending of angels during battles, right? Authentic miracles. Let's see, the dust storm during the Battle of the Trench was a miracle of Muhammad, right? Good grief. The things that they call miracles are just sometimes The promise of khilafat, inheritance of the land, is a miracle, right? So it's just, these are all things that they claim. So remember, it is according to, and I showed this last time, according to the hadith, if someone lies about Muhammad, they go to hell, right? So if these are true, then where's the proof? Because who saw some of these things happen? Where's the evidence? And if they're not true, then every single scholar who wrote one of these seerah is going straight to hell. This includes Muslim, Bukhari, Ibn Kathir, Ibn Taymiyyah, a bunch of them that are making these claims. They're all, most of the Islamic scholars have gone to hell for making false claims about Muhammad.
Amen. Amen. If it is, if we, okay, so let's just put this to
Yeah.
rest before we go into our subject. Let's just put this to rest. Daddy, love, thank you for your super chat. Thank you so very much. So let's just put this to rest first. Uh, let me show you, not this one, sorry. Now I'm going to show you something nice before we can put this to rest. The Quran is saying, Quran chapter 54, verse number 1, the chapter of the moon, Al-Qamar, the chapter of the moon. The hour has drawn near, means the hour of the judgment, the day of judgment. And the moon is split. So Quran does not say that Muhammad performed a miracle in splitting the moon. That's point number one. Quran does not claim that. Quran says the hour has drawn near and the moon is split, and this is verse number 1 by itself. So there is no context before this verse. Okay, so the hour has drawn near and the moon is split. Nobody saw the moon splitting into two. When these people see a sign, they turn away and say it's a magic, a sorcery. Now Muhammad did not split the moon. The the Quran says the moon is split, but we do not have any evidence of splitting of the moon. That's point number 1. Point number 2, let's go to this. Quran chapter number 21, the prophet, the chapter of the prophets. People are asking, they are claiming. So what is Allah saying? But they say, who say? The people say that Muhammad, you are giving us a mixture of false dreams. You know, rather he is an inventor. Oh, Muhammad, you are just an inventor. You are a blah blah blabber. Rather, you are a poet and you give us poetry because Quran is supposedly in the poetry form.
Yeah.
So let him bring us a sign just as the previous prophets were sent. So Moses performed sign according to Quran. Jesus performed sign according to Quran. So many prophets according to Quran performed signs and miracles and wonders. And they said the same thing. They said, okay, Muhammad, give us a sign like the previous prophets. And then what happens is Surah Yunus. Surah Yunus means Jonah. And they say, why is the sign not sent down from him, from his Lord? Once again, people are saying, why did Muhammad, you can't perform a single sign? Why can't you perform a single sign? So Muhammad said, so say to them, the unseen is only for Allah. So wait, indeed, I am among those waiters. So guys, wait, I'm going to give you a sign. Wait, not right now, but I am going to give you a sign. Okay, I'm going to give you a sign. That's what they say. Quran chapter number 13, the thunder, the chapter of thunder. It says, and those who disbelieve says, why has a sign not been sent down to him from his Lord? Because now they are waiting. They are tired. They are saying, we are waiting. Sign is not here. And tell them, you are only a warner. And for every people, there is a guide. So no sign is going to be given to you, O Muhammad. Tell them. Chapter number 29, verse number 50. But they say, why are not signs sent down to him from his Lord? Chapter number 25, 29, verse number 50. The sign, Allah is saying to Muhammad, because Muhammad is already BSing about Allah. So he is saying, the sign is only with Allah. I am only a clear warner. So Muhammad again said, I am only a clear warner. The sign and the miracles are for Allah only. So by this definition, Jesus is Allah, because the signs are only for Allah. Brother, what do you think? Because here he says sign is only for Allah, but Jesus did so many signs and wonders and miracles. So if sign is only for Allah, with Allah, for Allah, then Jesus is Allah. What do you say
That
here?
would make that would make perfect sense. Jesus spoke in the cradle in the Quran. Jesus actually spoke as an infant, as a newborn infant. Jesus actually spoke. Muhammad in the Quran has no miracles. There's no evidence of his miraculous nature. In fact, all the prophets were visited by God, whereas Muhammad never met God. All the apostles, all the prophets that were seen to be a companion of God, whereas Muhammad had his revelations in private. There were no witnesses at the beginning. So these are questions as well that need to be asked. Besides, he was in a cave. The fact that he was in a hole, a dark hole, that's another question compared to other prophets.
Perfect. So I'm gonna bring another one. Chapter number 6, verse number 109. And they swear by Allah. So now the polytheists are saying we swear by Allah, their strongest oath, that if Muhammad you will give us a sign, we will believe in you. Brother Lloyd, check this out. This is very important verse. For Muhammad, they are saying, we swear by Allah, Muhammad, if you give us a sign, we will believe in you. And because Muhammad did not had a single miracle, he was jack of nothing, right? He says the signs are only with Allah. And what will make you perceive that even if a sign would have come, you believe? So, brother, now this is the time when Jesus said, I have done so many miracles. You don't believe in me yet. Here Muhammad is saying, I am not going to give you a sign, you fools, even though that you're swearing by Allah. So, like, come on, imagine there are hundreds of people we are saying, I swear by Allah, if you give me a sign, I'll believe in you. The Muhammad who did not had any miracle except for his own ding dong between the legs, he said the sign is only for Allah. So, even at the time when people swore, he was not able to perform a single miracle.
Well, he obviously was not a true prophet. I mean, you mentioned a couple of things, just a couple of things that I was thinking about this week. Some of the inconsistencies within the Quran that I want to mention. You know that Satan refused to worship Adam, right? Satan refused to bow down to Adam
Hmm.
because this would be shirk,
Yes.
right? So Satan was thrown, Iblis was thrown out of heaven, out of
Yep.
paradise, and thrown down to the earth,
Yep.
right? And then later on, Eve was made, and Eve was tempted by Satan. Now, if Satan was thrown out of paradise, how did Satan get back in to tempt Eve?
Bam. And a lot of scholars of Islam fight about this so
Right,
much that it might be possible that this Jannah is in the world, because or the Satan might have penetrated into the Jannah without telling Allah. There are so many speculations on that by different scholars, man, because
right.
this is a huge problem.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the Quran verse that says something about what Jesus says, Blessed is the day that I was born, the day that I die, and the day that I'm raised again.
There's the life,
Right?
yes.
So he's born, he dies, he's raised again. Now, of course, when you read the Islamic orthodoxy of the eschatology, the end times, right? Jesus did not die on the cross. Jesus was taken up to heaven. Apparently, Isa was taken up to heaven by Allah. He will then come back at the end times to break the cross, to destroy the church, right? And convert everyone to Islam. And then Jesus will marry, have a family, and die.
Hmm.
Now, but the Quran says, Blessed is the day I was born,
Hmm.
die, and rise again. But
Exactly.
according to Islam as well, Jesus will not die. He's born, he does not die, but then he dies and he's dead. This is a complete contradiction. The end times versus what the Quran says. These are total contradictions again. And I'd love Muslims to explain this to me.
Yeah, that's a huge thing because see, that's the thing. I have done another live stream on that as well. The problem with this portion is that if the verse would have been the day I was born, the day I was raised alive, and the day I will die. So if the day I will die will be removed from the middle and put it in the end, then it would have been a perfect fit, and the narrative of the Muslimin would fit into it. But the verse is saying, blessed is the day I was born, the day I will die, and the day I raise alive. Right? So that's a big problem.
Yeah, yeah. No, so that's really, these people have some serious issues to address in their, with contradictions in their theology. So yeah, so should I jump into the presentation? We'll talk about
Perfect.
Muhammad again.
Yes,
So
brother.
let me go to the window. And okay, so last week we ended just after a section where the Jews were proclaiming the coming of Muhammad, right? So and also Muhammad raised a dead boy, right? Because Muhammad asks a Jewish man, "Have you seen me mentioned in your Torah?" And the Jewish man says no. But the man's son had died, and the dead son rises to admit that yes, the Bible does have Muhammad mentioned in it, and then he proclaims that Muhammad is, the prophet of Allah. So Muhammad did raise the dead. Anyway, so now what we have here, right? This is in Persian. This is a Persian manuscript, right, which depicts Muhammad, who is leading Abraham, Moses, and Jesus and others in prayer. Now, this fire around Muhammad, this is his halo. And notice that all the others, the other quote unquote prophets, have just a halo around their heads, but Muhammad's halo extends around his whole body. And all of the others, all the holy prophets, pray behind him. Right? So this is part of the veneration of Muhammad. Now, let's look at some other writings on Muhammad. So, from the third light upon their tongues, which is the light of Tawhid, right? And from the fourth part, Allah made the different lights of the soul of Muhammad. So Muhammad is made, constructed out of the Tawhid, right? Literally out of Allah. So this lovely soul came into being 360,000 years before the creation of the world. There is no time in heaven. So Muhammad was shaped most beautifully and made of incomparable matter. Its head was made from guidance, Muhammad's neck from humility, Muhammad's eyes from modesty, and Muhammad's forehead from closeness to Allah, Muhammad's mouth from patience, and his tongue from truthfulness, its cheeks from, its belly from, and blah, blah, his feet from, and his knees from, and blah, 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 blah. Then the crown of divine proximity was placed upon Muhammad's blessed head, exalted above all else, embellished with divine pleasure, and given the pure holy name of the beloved of Allah. And this you'll find here on this website called Muhammadan Reality, the creation of Muhammad.
Brother, can you please go up a little because you gave a very nice topic and then you moved so fast out of it.
Sorry about
Tawheed,
that.
a little more, a little more. Tawheed. So here, read from the from the third light upon their tongues, which is the light of Tawheed, the unity of Allah. So Quran says Kul huwallahu ahad, which they always claim to be the Tawheed verse or Tawheed chapter, that Allah doesn't have anything, Allah doesn't have anything equating to him, and etc. etc. But we see over here that the scholars of Islam are saying that Muhammad is created out of the Tawheed, Tawhid. If
Mhm.
because you said in brackets it's the unity of Allah, so it is Tawheed. Hence the brackets, the part in the brackets explains that it is Tawheed, no matter how the spellings are written. The light of Tawheed. So what you are telling me is that Muhammad comes from the Nur Allah. So
He
Muhammad
does.
is the part of the Nur Allah.
He is. He is literally a piece of Allah.
He's a piece of Allah.
Yeah. He was
Awesome.
emanated from Allah. He was taken from Allah's own essence. He is a part of Allah's own essence.
So Allah and Momo are one.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So guys, according to Islamic scholars, Allah and Momo are one. Okay,
Yeah.
please, brother.
Remember, I showed a number of these like this last time. Okay. Last week, I showed a number of these, right? Several
Yeah.
of these. So this is just the last one. So Muhammad is like 13,000 years old. He's 360,000 years old. He's 170,000 years old. He's whatever. Well, Muhammad was at the creation. So Allah made all of the earth, all of the heavens, the whole universe for Muhammad, as we saw last week. All right. So understand Muhammad is very, very special.
Brother,
Okay.
can we jump to a specific point over here? Because now
Sure.
we are talking about the light of Allah. So when Muhammad
Okay.
was born, you know, you told us last time as well, a little hint as well. There was a light. Can we jump to that and then come back over here?
Oh, the
There
light
was
of
a
Allah.
light, yeah, where the light of Muhammad comes out of the mother of Muhammad and could be seen like thousands of miles away.
Oh, so wait, you mean the one I just showed you or the ones I showed last time?
Okay, so let's go to the one that you showed me before this live stream. Let's go there first.
Okay, let me go down and look for that.
Because this
Yes.
is very important. So the light is emerging from the vagina, excuse my language, vagina of mother of Muhammad. Is that what
Okay.
it says?
Yeah. Now, we discussed this last week at length. I showed several references to Muhammad being the light of Allah. His light shone out of his mother's vajayjay and shone 1,300 kilometers all the way to Bosra in Syria. So so it's right here. So I heard a Jew calling out at the top of his voice from the top of a fort, O company of Jews, confound you, what is the matter? And he answered, tonight has risen a star under which Ahmad, Muhammad, is to be born. So the Jews were proclaiming the birth of Muhammad, right? There's no evidence for this, but they make numerous such claims. And a voice said to Amina, you are pregnant with the Lord of this people. And when he is born, say, I've put him in the care of the one from the evil of every envier, then call him Muhammad. As she was pregnant with him, she saw a light come forth from her by which she could see the castles of Busra and Syria. Now, here's my question. If she was indoors in Mecca, how could she see the castles 1,300 kilometers away in Syria?
Brother, is there a map that you have
So,
for the light
so,
emitting
so
so
yeah,
that
so
people would?
this is the thing that apparently was shining all the way to Syria. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I did some research and I found this. This is the most likely thing that was shining all the way to Syria. And here we go. So let's have a look. So this is what they saw in Busra in Syria, okay, up here. And of course, this thing was shining all the way from Mecca. So if we look at Mecca, right, then we go all the way up here, all the way through Saudi Arabia, past the Gulf of Aqaba, through Jordan, past Israel, past Amman, all the way into Damascus, all the way into Syria. This is how far Mo's mother shone her light
From the Vajayjay.
from the Vajayjay,
So
all the way.
Muhammad is still inside the Vajayjay,
Yes.
and the light is emitting from the Vajayjay, and whoever is the Dai of that particular mother of
Actually,
Momo.
no, sorry, I was wrong. It's 1,600 kilometers. What was I thinking?
Okay, 1,600 kilometers. So the light emerged out from the Vajayjay of, like, it should be very bright light. How is the Dai took the Momo out of the Vajayjay? Like, it's a very
I
bright light, brother.
look, I don't know. This is Allah knows best.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, yeah, yeah. I forgot that part. I
So
definitely forgot that part.
so understand. So this is the claim that Muslims make, and I would love to see them back this one up, right? I'll just jump back to see if I missed anything. But yeah, was that what you wanted to see?
Yeah, because like we are talking about the light of Muhammad, and last time we talked a lot about the light of Muhammad, and then Allah created him from His own light, the Noor, and now he's the part of the Tawheed. So yeah, it's very appropriate that we would show that right now, that how bright that light was.
Yeah, incredibly bright. It literally shone the whole world, lit up the whole world. Of course, there'll be historical records of this. Now, what is interesting, it should be noted that the Quran is useless when it comes to archaeology, whereas the Old Testament is extremely useful to archaeologists. It allows them to either find things and places to dig, or it allows them to identify things that they find. So the New Testament is very, very useful, whereas the Quran is completely useless. And of course, so are all the Gnostic Gospels that you mentioned earlier. Now, to clarify, what is Islam? So, according to the Sharia, okay, this is from the fiqh, the Sharia, right? Islam, according to the orthodox understanding of Sunni Islam, is to testify that there's no God but Allah and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Of course, this is not found in the Quran, right? The
That is
Shahada
correct.
is not found in the Quran, as you know. Now, Allah, so his messenger, Allah sent Muhammad, the Qurayshite unlettered prophet, to deliver his inspired message to the entire world. Arabs and non-Arabs, jinn and mankind, superseding and abrogating all previous religious systems. Islam supersedes and abrogates all religions. Okay? So, and belief, now understand this, because of course Allah stands alone. Allah doesn't need anybody, except Allah doesn't stand alone and Allah needs Muhammad, because belief in Allah alone is insufficient. Allah requires Muhammad because Allah has favored him above all the prophets. He's the highest of mankind. And Allah rejects anyone attesting to Allah by saying there's no God but Allah, unless they also attest to the Prophet by saying Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So if you believe in Allah but you don't accept Muhammad, Allah rejects you because you must attest to Muhammad. This is Orthodox Sunni fiqh. This is what Islam believes. This is their orthodoxy.
Absolute. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolute. By the
So
way,
yeah,
do you know this goes against the Quran statement in itself?
go on, please. Yeah.
The Quran actually says in chapter number 42, verse number 7. Let me open that. Because Quran actually states that we gave you Quran, O Muhammad, in pure Arabic so that you could warn the mother of cities. So mother of cities over here is mentioned as Makkah. Let
And
me
Baka
show my
Warner.
screen. Yeah, let me just show my screen so that people would know. And thus we have revealed to you an Arabic Quran that you may warn the mother of cities, i.e. Makkah. It doesn't say Makkah, but i.e. Makkah, and those around it, and warn the day of assembly about which they have no doubt of party in paradise, party in bliss. So Quran came in Arabic for the basic fact that Muhammad could warn the mother of cities. Now, what you are showing, the basic example of Islam, they
Yeah.
are going against Quran, FYI.
Right. Which is common. Now, notice Jesus does say, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me. So,
Mhm.
effectively, Islamic fiqh, right? And this is taken from the Umdat al Salik, right? This states that no one comes to Allah except through Muhammad. So, and they state here that Allah has obliged everyone to believe everything the Prophet has informed us, okay? And does not accept anyone's faith unless they believe in what Muhammad has told us, what will happen after death. So they must accept the word of Muhammad. And this is within the Sharia, okay? Links again are in the YouTube chat. So Muhammad says in the Hadith, I am most like Jesus among the whole of mankind. So Muhammad is claiming that he is the most like Jesus. And in fact, in different hadith, Muhammad claims to be the most like Abraham, that in fact, he looks more like Abraham than Abraham's own children. Okay. So Muhammad says, I am the nearest of all people to Jesus. This is in Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari, right? So he claims that he is the closest of all prophets to Jesus, when in fact, he denies the divinity of Jesus and he tries to replace Jesus.
That is correct, brother.
Now, what is just a small little aside in the Islamic tradition? Notice that Mary did not have a husband, right, and thus was
Yes,
not married to Joseph, right? This is the
yes.
Islamic version of this. So Joseph is not even mentioned; he's not named in the Quran. Now, certain commentaries, the tafsir, do mention him, right? He's described as pious, and he's described as someone who helps her. There's at least one tafsir which narrates that Mary married Joseph, okay, although he does so only to help her and that she never slept with him, right? So she married her cousin. So Joseph is now her cousin, the carpenter, but he never approached her. He married her only to take her to Egypt, all right? And in this account, Joseph does not touch Mary. So, in other words, and they speak of the perpetual virginity of Mary even within some of the tafsir of Islam, right? Which is taken from Gnostic Gospels again. I mean, that's a story for a different day, but this is taken straight out of the Gnostic Gospels. So they steal these ideas out of Gnosticism.
So, by the way, you said that he's closest to Jesus,
Yeah.
and if we look at it, there are number of hadiths where Muhammad is saying, "I am nearest to all prophets, the prophet son of Mary." But then
Hmm.
they adds, and there is no prophet between the me and Jesus. Correct?
Hmm.
They
Yes.
add that.
Yes.
So this is in Sahih Bukhari 3442. This is in Sahih Muslim 2365b. But when we look at Quran chapter number 36:13, it says that there was a messenger whom Allah sent, and then he strengthened that messenger with two more. So let me give you Quran chapter number 36, verse number
So that's
13 and
good.
14.
Yes.
Right? So he sent two, and then he strengthened them with a third, and that we know that it is Barnabas and Paul and one more. So the disciples, apostles, apostle means prophets, so apostles were there, and Allah mentions it in Quran,
Yeah.
yet
Here
in
it is.
hadiths they deny. Yep.
Yeah. So this is in Tafsir Ibn Kathir. We supported and strengthened them with a third messenger. And the name of the third was Bulus, and the city was Antioch. That's
Eh,
in Tafsir 36:14.
yeah, 36:14. That's what I'm saying. That's the
Yeah.
Quran 36:14, which actually mentions it in the Quran, and Tafsir said that the Quran says, when we sent to them two, but then they denied them, so we strengthened them with a third, and they say, indeed, we are the messenger to you. So here, Quran is claiming that. Then the Tafsir says that. So in fact, you see the contradictions here, left, right, and center.
Islamic theology has never been known to be consistent or logical.
That is true, brother. God bless you for that.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it's just a nightmare. It's just a joke. Okay, so let me see. So let's go back onto. I just need to go back to where I was. All right. So now you know that you cannot get to Allah unless you believe in Muhammad. Now notice within the Islamic law, right? They speak of belief in Allah's inspired books, but this is the formal orthodox doctrine on the Torah, right? So Muslims must believe in Allah's inspired books, which He revealed to His messengers. Believe meaning to be convinced that they are the word of Allah, the Most High, and all they contain is the truth. However, they qualify this. The obligation of belief applies to the original revelations, not the scriptures in the hands of non-Muslims today, which are corrupt in their present form. This is in the Umdat al-Salik section U 3.4. This is the orthodoxy. Doesn't matter what the Quran says. What Islam is what these scholars say it is. And this is what Muslims follow. So unfortunately, they don't care. It doesn't matter because, for instance, you cannot find proper reference to 5 daily prayers in the Quran, for instance, right? This is in the Hadith. So, but yet they still have 5 daily prayers, right? So there are other things which differ from what's in the Quran, but they still follow them. You can't find the format of the prayer in the Quran, but yet they know how to pray because it's not in the Quran. They don't listen to the Quran. They go to other sources which supersede the Quran. Now, also, it says this does not contradict the final coming of Jesus, since Jesus will not rule according to the Gospels, but as a follower of the Prophet. So Muhammad will have Jesus serve him and pray behind him. So the faith of the Christians was that whoever adhered to the Gospel and the teachings of Jesus, their faith was valid and acceptable until the coming of Muhammad. And then all that became invalid. And those of them who did not follow Muhammad and give up the Sunnah of Jesus and the Gospels, so you must give up Jesus, give up the Gospels, those people are lost. And no one's way or spiritual works are acceptable unless they conform to the sacred law of Muhammad.
Absolutely, brother. And that's why I think we had a discussion on that earlier in the past. This is a later invention from the time of Ibn Taymiyyah. And this, if I'm not mistaken, it was Ibn Taymiyyah or somebody else when they added to say that the Torah and Gospels are
Bukhari.
fully corrupted.
No, sorry, Shafi. Shafi.
Sha Shafi. So it was
Shafi
from
is
the
the guy
time
who
of
started.
Shafi that he started this movement that that it is changed. But if we look at the early sources, that when Ibn Kathir referred to the early sources, now this is Ibn Kathir of verse 378. Now when he is referring to the early source, which is Ibn Abbas, said that the ayah mean that the altar and add, although none among Allah's creation can remove the words of Allah from his book, they alter and distort their apparent meaning. So Wahab bin Munabbih said, the Torah and Injil remains as Allah revealed them, and no letter in them was removed. However, the people misguide other by addition and false interpretation, relying on the books they wrote themselves. So if we see the early Muslims, they take the verses of Quran, and I've done multiple live streams on that. They take multiple verses of the Quran, and they can only agree to the fact that the Torah and Injil is not corrupted. So Shafi started some movement. Ibn Taymiyyah made it even more, and this whole new movement, and Ibn Qayyim actually started the movement of uh, the polemics
Yes,
against
the polemics, yes.
polemics against the Christians and the Yahud. He's the one who started it, which the Muslims are still using, and the Didat's lectures are basically taken from Ibn Qayyim. So
Correct.
if we look at it, the early Islamic scholars, They do not agree with that. But the later they added to this that everything is corrupted to announce their religion. And that's the reality. But once again, we are looking at the later sources, and that's how the Muslimin takes it. They don't take the early sources, they reject the early sources because it does not go along with their current motives and intentions. So they reject early sources and take the later sources. Please, my
Right.
brother.
Okay, so understand, Muslims basically. So Muhammad does say in Quran 18:110, "I'm only a man like you to whom has been revealed that your God is one God." So of course they contradict themselves all over the place, right? And then of course do not exaggerate. So Muslims are telling us Jesus was only a messenger of Allah. And of course, according to other scholars, when Jesus descends for the second time, the Sharia of Muhammad will be revealed to him. So Jesus will learn the Sharia of Muhammad through the tongue of Gabriel. So Gabriel is greater than Jesus. And none of the prophets will leave from the orbit of the Sharia of Muhammad. So all will be subservient to Muhammad's Sharia. And when the Jews heard this, they said, "We follow the religion of Adam. We are Muslims." So Adam was a Muslim, and they preferred Adam with Islam and Noah with Islam and the family of Abraham, the children of Abraham with Islam, and the family of Moses and Aaron with Islam. So this is according to Tafsir Ibn Abbas 333. So of course we are extreme. We suffer from extremism as Christians because we consider Jesus a god, and the Jews are remiss because they accuse Mary apparently of fornication. Right now, understand, if you go into the Sirah again, Jesus was standing praying, and the one who most resembles him is this guy, whoever this guy is. So suddenly it's not Muhammad. Also, there was Abraham praying, and the one who resembles him most is Muhammad. Then the time for the prayers came, and I was Imam for all of them. And when we had finished prayers, a voice said to me, "Muhammad, this is Malik, the Chamberlain of Hell, so greet him." So according to, this is in Arthur Jeffrey, Islam, Muhammad and His Religion, page 42. So Muhammad apparently leads everyone in prayer, and that's where that drawing I showed you earlier comes in. And he's introduced to Satan. So Muhammad meets Satan as well. So Jesus had a son's relationship with his father, right? So a favorite episode in the account of Muhammad's ascension is that which tells of the prophet being taken into the presence of Allah. As Enoch walked with God, as Abraham was the friend of God, and as Moses spoke with God face to face in Mount Sinai, and Jesus had a son's relationship with his father, this story is intended to show how Muhammad had an equally intimate acquaintance with his Lord. There are many variations of the story. So, of course, Islamic Sirah constantly differ. Now, they claim that the Gospels are not reliable and not trustworthy because they have slightly different versions of stories. But if you read the Sirah of Muhammad, they are all over the place. There's no agreement between them.
But brother,
Any comment from you?
hold on, back. This, you say certain things very casually. So Jesus has a relationship. You highlighted that part. Can you go back? Certain
Yep.
things has to be emphasized. Jesus had a son relationship with his father, so that this story is intended to show how Muhammad had an equally intimate acquaintance with his Lord. This is by As-Sayuti, Jalaluddin As-Sayuti, who is a Jalal, who is not a small guy. He is a
Mm-hmm.
big giant. So according to Jalaluddin As-Sayuti, Jesus had a son relationship with his father. Who is the father of Jesus? According to
God.
Quran, it's Allah, right?
Yeah.
So, but Muhammad and his Quran states, "Kul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad." He neither has a son nor he is a father of anybody. So, according to Quran, this is falsified statement. As-Sayuti is burning in hell. Thank you. But
Correct.
at the same time, we realize they agree to the fact that Jesus called his God Father.
Well, and what's interesting is Aisha calls Muhammad a liar because Aisha said, "What you have said makes my hair stand on end. Know that if somebody tells you one of the following three things, he is a liar. Whoever tells you that Muhammad saw his Lord is a liar."
Amen. Hail Mary to Aisha. I don't know how they say that.
So Aisha further said, "Whoever tells you that the Prophet knows what is going to happen tomorrow is a liar." So Muhammad did not do prophecy. No soul can know what it will earn tomorrow. Quran 31:34, quoted by Aisha. So either Aisha is a liar, the scholars are liars, or Muhammad's a liar. Pick one. Okay.
I would say
So
all of them.
ding, 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 all three. Right. So, and whoever tells you that he concealed some of Allah's orders is a liar. So understand this is in Hadith, this is Bukhari, which, as you know, is Da'if Hadith, right? Bukhari, it's the Da'if Bukhari, correct? I think it's called the Da'if Bukhari, is the name of the book.
Yeah, that's probably right, because now they are denouncing Bukhari. So it's from Sahih al-Bukhari, now it's changed to Daif al-Bukhari.
So yeah. So anyway, so I'll skip over some of this. Notice now the question is, why don't we know about Sharia? So I just wanted to mention. Now, understand, not everything is meant literally. You need to understand it the way they mean it, but we are not meant to know the Sharia, the fiqh, the law of Islam, which is the final interpretation of the Quran and the Sunnah. The Sunnah is not just the Hadith; it's also the Sirah. All of that taken together, plus the Tafsir, all of that mixed and blended, and the best of those opinions and ideas taken together gives you the Sharia, gives you the fiqh. Sharia, the eternal moral laws of Allah, and the fiqh is the application of that. It is not permissible to give directions and the like to someone who is intending to perpetrate a sin, because it is helping another to commit disobedience. So they can never reveal this, any of this Islamic stuff. They cannot reveal it to us because we will use it to insult Islam. They cannot give directions to people who are wrongdoers, okay, for corruption. Corruption, technically in Islam, means temptation away from Islam, away from the faith, and teaching questions of sacred law to those learning it in bad faith who do not want to become Muslims, but for unworthy purposes. So it is forbidden, this and many other laws that forbid Muslims from revealing the Sharia to non-Muslims. Fitna, they speak of fitna. Remember, fitna is worse than murder, according to the Quran, right?
Yes.
Fitna is just temptation, according to the Sharia or the fiqh. Temptation away from Islam is fitna. Fitna is not corruption, as in you do something bad. It's just you're leading Muslims away from Islam, and therefore you must be killed. To kill you is better than you leading Muslims away, right? And of course, let's do one more thing: permissible lying, right? After this, I want to talk about. We'll get into some of the miracles of Muhammad, but there's a chapter within the Sharia called permissible lying, right? So, of course, Muhammad says he who settles disagreements between people to bring about good. Now, this is their definition of good, okay, or peace. This person is not a liar. So, a Muslim who tries to convert you or tries to convince you of the good of Islam, yes, fitna is good, right? So, yeah, but this person is not lying. So, if they are lying for the good of Islam, they are not lying.
Oh, wait, wait, wait,
Now,
wait, 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 wait.
yep,
So what you are telling me is, FYI, for our listener to understand. So if you are lying to bring somebody to Islam, that lie is not a lie.
correct.
So if I tell somebody, accept Islam, and you will be able to drink alcohol even if you are a Muslim,
Correct.
will I not be punished of lying, even though that I know that I'm lying?
No, you will not be, because you are doing good.
So that is why you can lie and say, come to Islam and still drink alcohol and still do everything and nothing wrong in it.
Yes. So
Perfect.
what is, so how this looks, the Sharia and the fiqh are the final exegesis of all of the verses of the Quran. Forget the Quran. All of that exegesis has been done, and you can find it written in black and white in the Sharia, right? So Muhammad did not lie except for three things: warfare. And don't forget, Islam is permanently at war. Two, settling disagreements. And three, lying to your wife. Those are the three things where Muhammad was heard to lie. Okay? Warfare, settling disagreements, and lying to your wife, which is allowed. So, under settling disagreements, when you argue with a Muslim, you have a disagreement. To settle the disagreement, he can lie to you. Understand? So, now the best analysis of the topic of what eventually becomes obligatory lying in Islam, obligatory lying, is by Al-Ghazali, who's the number one scholar of Islam after Muhammad, and he's even above the founders of the four schools. He says speaking is a means to achieve objectives. If a praiseworthy aim is attainable through both telling the truth and lying, it is unlawful to lie because there's no need for it. When it is possible to achieve such an aim by lying, but not by telling the truth. It is permissible to lie if attaining the goal is permissible. Now, don't forget, it is always permissible to bring people to Allah. It is always permissible to make Islam supreme. So when the purpose of lying is to circumvent someone who is preventing one from doing something permissible, if you're opposing Islam and they are trying to spread Islam and you are opposing them, and the purpose is to circumvent you, then it is obligatory to lie if the goal is obligatory.
So by the way, Carolina, this is not called takayya. Takayya is when you lie in the face of you being about to be killed or punished. That's a separate thing.
There's a
This one,
second definition of taqiyya. There's also tactical deceit for the purposes of spreading Islam. So there's a second
they call
definition.
it something else. Yeah, they call it something else. I forgot the exact name of that. But yeah, so basically Islam, you can lie. And by the way, this reminds me of a 1 minute video. Let me play if you don't mind, because this is what a Arab scholar said in a live telecast. In a live telecast. Check this out, guys. It's in Arabic. The subtitles are there.
كان في واحد مسلم بجوار واحد يهودي. فالمسلم كان يرى من اليهود يعني شيء من الطيبه ولو كانت بسيطه، فكان نفسه باي طريقه إن هو يفكر طريقه يخليه يسلم بيها. فراح كلمه وقال له: يا فلان، يعني اليس لك حاجه في الاسلام؟ انت ما نفسكش تسلم؟ قال: والله ما يمنعني من الاسلام الا اني احب شرب الخمر. انا فعلا نفسي اسلم من زمان، بس انا الحاجه الوحيده اللي منعاني ان انا مدمن خمر. فالمسلم ابتكر له طريقه، قال له: خلاص اسلم واشرب الخمر براحتك. طبعا المسلم مش قصده كده طبعا، فقال له: اسلم واشرب الخمر. قال له: خلاص ماشي. فاليهودي اشهد ان لا اله الا الله وان محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقال له المسلم: الان اصبحت مسلما، فان شربت الخمر طبقنا عليك حد الخمر، وان ارتدت عن دين الله قتلناك. فثبت الرجل على دينه ولم يشرب الخمر ابدا بعد ذلك. ودي كانت حيله جميله من هذا المسلم.
So, guys, this is how he explained it. Brother, what do you have to say about that?
This was
So
a very good plan.
this is a very good plan. So he said, now that you have done the shahada, if you drink, you will be punished with the punishment of alcoholic drink. Means you will be use the hunter on you 100 times or 10 times or 50 times. And if you leave Islam now that you have accepted it, you will be killed, because that's the Islamic way. Man baddal deenu fuqtulu. So now that a person remained a Muslim and he did not drink. Wow.
Yeah, so this is trickery, but this is considered but that's a story for another day. But the main foundation of lying within Islam is called hiyal, Hiyal. It is the oldest, most established form of trickery within Islam. It's called legal trickery. The first published works on this dates to the year 805, were the first complete. These are hundreds of strategies for deceiving people. It was originally applied to how to break promises, how to break oaths, how to break contracts, right? So technically you're following the letter of the contract, but you can break those contracts by finding ways to word things, to break any oath, any promise, any contract, any agreement, right? So, and then all of these other forms of lying are basically subsets of those, and they all fall under a doctrine called rukhsa. But that's for another day. So let me continue. So let's talk about Muhammad going to heaven, right? Muhammad on his burak, his horse or his cow or his flying camel, whatever it was, right? We still don't know. So according to Ar-Rahiq al-Maktoum, the sealed nectar by Saifur Rahman al-Mubarakpuri, says the Messenger of Allah was carried in body from the sacred mosque in Makkah to the distant mosque in Jerusalem on a horse called al-Burak. Now, of course, other sources don't know if it's a horse. They don't know if it's a horse. They could have been a donkey, could have been a pineapple, it could have been a duck. We don't know. All right. But the horse was called Al-Burak in the company of Gabriel the archangel. Right. He tethered the horse to a ring at the gate of the mosque. Now, of course, what's interesting is the distant mosque in Jerusalem. It simply says the furthest mosque. There's no indication of where this mosque is. But of course, there also wasn't a mosque in Jerusalem at the time. This is a long time before the mosque was actually built. So it'd be interesting to know how Muhammad went forward in time. Right, so he was a time traveler too. And of course, he led the prophets in prayer at the mosque. Gabriel took him to the heavens on the same horse, and they reached the first heaven. He asked the guardian angel to open the door. It was opened and he saw Adam. So Adam's on the first heaven. Then they welcomed, it said blah, 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 blah. So Muhammad, now of course, Abu Bakr's family told me that Aisha, who was the Prophet's wife, used to say the apostle's body remained where it was, but God removed his spirit. Now you've got scholars telling you he was physically taken there. Then you've got his wife saying, no, she wasn't. And that's in the Sirat Rasulullah, right? And also you can see the famous but unauthentic stories of Islam, okay, which calls both Aisha and Ibn Ishaq a liar, okay? So Islam QA says whatever. So the fact is that, right, so this is a refutation on Islam QA that says here that the refutation of those who claim that the story of the Isra and the Miraj is a myth. So in one story, Aisha says that Muhammad never went. And then scholars are saying this is a myth and she's a liar, and she's calling the scholars a liar. And of course, because the Gospels disagree on certain details, the Gospels are untrue, but Muhammad's story is 100% true when the scholars cannot agree whatsoever. And of course, final point, Jesus is found in the second heaven. Muhammad goes all the way to the seventh heaven. Jesus is stuck in the second heaven right here. So, your comments, Adam?
Yeah, so Quran already says he's with Allah. So, but they have to denounce Jesus like on the lower levels again and again. So yeah, that's what they do.
Yep, and then of course they tell how Jesus was deceived by a thief because Jesus was stupid.
Oh,
So in Sahih Muslim, so there's hadith from Allah, from the Messenger of Allah, that Allah's Messenger said, Jesus, son of Mary, saw a person committing theft. So Jesus says to this person, you committed theft. And the thief says, no, by him besides whom there is no God, I have not committed theft. And Jesus says, I affirm in my faith in Allah, it is my own self that deceived me.
wow. So basically, you are telling me that Jesus of Islam made a false accusation on somebody?
Or he was too stupid. The guy lied to him and Jesus believed him. Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah. So that's Isa basically. All right. Please, brother.
Now, of course, as you know, at the end times, Jesus will come back. He will break the cross. He will abolish the jizya because everybody will be Muslims. He will convert everyone by the sword and everyone will have money. Okay,
So
which
by
is
the way,
fantastic.
why will he
Yeah.
kill the pigs? So in the same one, he will kill the pigs. So why will he
Pigs,
even kill the pigs, man?
pigs are haram, I guess. I don't know.
Like, but
Who
like
knows?
haram doesn't makes any difference because the pig killing the pig, like, how does killing of the pig comes into whole discussion of the end of times?
You ask the Muslims. So I don't know. Allah knows best. So understand also, Bukhari says the Christians will be called upon and it will be said to them, who do you used to worship? They will say, we used to worship Jesus, the Son of Allah, and it will be said to them, you are liars. So understand, according to Orthodox Islam, if you look in the Sharia, you are a liar because Jesus, Allah, has never taken a wife or a son. Now, of course, Jesus will go on Hajj and Umrah. And of course, I'll skip over this story. This is some really crazy stuff, right? So now, the Sirah of Muhammad, the Gospels of Muhammad, was originally about war. Okay, so it comes from the word sarah, to travel or to be on a journey, but there was the context of war because the plural form siyar could also be referred to the rules of war and dealing with non-Muslims. So the way to deal with non-Muslims is with aggression through warfare, right? So in the first 2 centuries of Islamic history, the Sirah was more commonly known as the Maghazi, literally stories of military expeditions. So the Sirah contains Muhammad's political and military actions. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the Sirah expands on and explains. It is either inspired by, but also expands on events mentioned in the Quran, and is often used by writers of the Tafsir and the Asbab al-Nuzul, okay, to provide background information for events mentioned in certain verses. So the Hadith themselves have no context. So the Sirah give context to the Hadith and the Quran. They also provide a chronology, right? And these are considered, the Sirah are considered authoritative. Muslims will lie to you the moment you show them these books, but they will amongst themselves affirm that these are authoritative. Okay, so they give the Quran a backstory, and thus they allow people to understand better. They try to be gospels. Okay, now in early Islam there was an inclination to exaggerate and to fantasize. And there was a reliance on what they called Israeliyat. These were basically Jewish hadith, Jewish narrations. Now, eventually, these were banned from teaching at mosques, right? From being taught at mosques or being spoken at mosques. So what happens is they wrote their own. So they used to consider themselves Jews, and of course, or to be like the Jews. But eventually, the Jews rejected them, and so they rejected the Jews, and they no longer taught the Israeliyat, the Jewish narrations from the Talmud. So later sources now claim to know more about Muhammad than the earlier sources. Now, Patricia Kroner, right, she found a pattern where the further a commentary was from the time of the life of Muhammad, right, and the events in the Quran, the more information it provided, despite the fact that all of these sources depended on earlier sources which had less information. So this is all just exaggeration. It is entirely just exaggeration. Your comments,
Oh,
Adam?
oh, you are already right on spot, brother. When it comes to the teachings that they perform in a Muslim country, is altogether a different teaching what they give over here to the non-Muslims. So
Mhm.
you're absolutely right on this point whatsoever.
Okay. So now, for instance, the final point about this little thing about Muhammad, he does yoga and he was the good news. So Muhammad is the gospel of Jesus. Okay. According to Islam, according to the Sirah, the gospels of Muhammad, Muhammad is the gospel of Jesus. So his mother told how she was pregnant, and a light went out from her, which illumined the castles of Busra and Syria, which we've seen, and she bore him with the least difficulty imaginable. When she bore him, he put his hands on the ground, he lifted his head towards the heaven, and he spoke to his mother. Okay. Oh, sorry, whatever. No, he put his hands on the ground and he lifted his head towards the sky. So Muhammad was the earliest practitioner of yoga
Uh,
at
but like
birth.
one more thing, he was born without any difficulty, man. When you will
Yeah.
have a huge searchlight in the VJJ, so that birth will not give you any problem because you already have a.
But there's a different hadith which says that, if I find it, that Muhammad spent 3 years, his mother carried him for 3 years.
Yeah, because that's another topic because Hamza was 4 years elder than Muhammad, and
Yeah.
then Muhammad's father and grandfather married second or third wife, and Muhammad's father married the first wife on the same day. And and then Muhammad's father went out the next day or a couple of days later for tijara, for traveling, for and then he died on his way back. So if Hamza is 4 years older than Muhammad, then Muhammad has to be in the mother's womb for 3 years. So they have to do that as well, and that's a story for another day. For that, we will bring up so many more references,
Right.
but you know,
So,
there's like crazy stories, man.
so, so other references, there's numerous references. Muhammad's father carried a light. Okay. So Muhammad's father's forehead shone with a light as well. Okay. Muhammad's mother, once she became pregnant, the light vanished from his father's forehead because it went into Muhammad. Okay.
Oh.
So, yes. So when she conceived him and suffered no pain, and when he came out of me, a light came out with him that illuminated everything from east to west. I saw the night I gave birth. So Syria was illuminated. Okay. So Muhammad apparently says this. So there's constant repetition of the fact, according to this is Masood.co.uk. So either these guys are lying or someone's telling a story. Okay, so the Holy Prophet had no shadow, according to this on this website here. Muhammad had no shadow. His radiance would eclipse even the sun. In front of a lighted lamp, his radiance would be more powerful. So Muhammad was the light of the world. Okay, and just so you know, the gates of paradise are only open on 2 days, Monday and Thursday. Okay,
Yeah, they have a COVID law over there, man. So the
so
rest of the days
now,
they
so now let's compare Muhammad and Jesus. All right, so Jesus had to be circumcised, as we learn from Luke 2:21, but Muhammad was born circumcised. So now that's certain scholars that claim that Muhammad was born circumcised. Okay, you can see on Islam QA they discuss this, but there are different opinions. That Muhammad was born circumcised, that Jibreel circumcised him when he split open his chest. Muhammad was the first recipient of open heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, circumcised him according to the Arab custom. But of course, Jesus was circumcised on the eighth day as a Jew. Muhammad was circumcised on the seventh day before Jesus. So in either case, he's better than Jesus. He was born circumcised or circumcised on the seventh day, or Jibril himself circumcised Muhammad. But more than that, if we look here in Muhammad, Messenger of Allah, in the Ashifa of Qadi Iyad, the Prophet was born circumcised with his umbilical cord cut. And he was born clean. There was no impurity on him. He was born clean. He came out immaculate, the immaculate excretion. Sorry, the immaculate conception. Aisha said, I never ever saw the private parts of the Messenger of Allah. So just
Uh,
so you know, yeah.
okay, 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 let's go.
So just so you know, Mo was born with his umbilical cord cut, which is a miracle. And Aisha says, I never ever saw the private parts of the Messenger of Allah. And then Ali says, the Prophet asked me to make sure that no one except me washed him, because Muhammad said, no one has ever seen me naked without going blind. So this is in one of the most famous. The Ashifa is probably the most famous of the Sirah volumes. Have you heard this before, Adam?
No, I have not heard this before, man.
This is probably the single most popular gospel, the most best known gospel of Muhammad. So no
Wow.
one saw Mo naked without going blind. So maybe that's why they need the niqabs and the dark glasses, because when his wife saw him, it's like, oh boy, I can't see anymore. Who knows?
So Muhammad was performing the ding dong by closing the eyes of the, or maybe Momo did not have the private part. That's why he doesn't
I
have
don't
the
know.
kids.
Maybe he was using his finger. I don't know. But Aisha never saw the private parts of the messenger. And we don't want to call Aisha a liar, now do we? Because she already calls all the scholars a bunch of liars.
She is the mother of the believers, man. She's
So
the
the
mother of the
scholars
believers.
call her a liar. She calls the scholar a liar. Okay. Now, understand though, Ibn Abbas then goes on to say, so you will meet Allah barefoot, naked, walking on feet, and uncircumcised. So the Prophet says you will meet Allah barefoot, naked, walking on feet. Now, I thought Allah only has like 1 foot or one shin, or I don't know what Allah's got. But notice, Mo is circumcised, Allah is not. So who's a little better than Allah here, Adam?
Okay, so let me fix this hadith. The English translation is very bad. It says
Okay,
you as humans will
okay.
meet Allah barefoot, naked, and uncircumcised. So you as humans, like
Ah,
we. So add it in the bracket. This is a translation, I know,
okay.
but
Now, thanks for
this is
fixing
this is
that.
how it is. So I'm sorry,
Well,
but
yeah,
I don't want the
sure.
false information to go
No,
out.
that's great. No, that's good. Look, I got this from Sunnah.com, Bukhari 81113, and SahihBukhari.com.
You are
So these are
reading
the
the
links.
right hadith, but the way you interpreted it, because a lot of people of the English who speak English,
Okay,
they interpret it this way because this is how it is written. But
okay.
yeah.
Okay, no, fine. So then that makes sense of that. Okay, that's great. So, okay, let's talk about Muhammad's divinity. So I have not smelled amber, musk, or anything more fragrant than the smell of the messenger. Okay, and of course, when Muhammad touches someone, I felt a cool sensation. His hand was scented, as if he had taken it from a bag of perfume. If Muhammad shook a man's hand, the fragrance would remain on that man's hand for the whole day. If Muhammad placed his hand on the head of a child, the child would be recognized among the other children by the fragrance. Muhammad,
Man.
Anas's mother brought Muhammad a bottle in which to put Muhammad's sweat. We put your sweat in our perfume. It is the most fragrant of scents. Muhammad's sweat smelled amazing. In the great history, Al-Bukhari mentioned that when the Prophet went down a road, anyone who walked behind him knew that he had passed that way because of his scent. So Muhammad's scent would linger in the street. The Prophet's fragrance occurred without the use of perfume. And the Prophet, okay, so some guy wanted to ride behind the Prophet. So I put my mouth on the seal of prophethood and it spread over me like musk. So some guy sucked Muhammad's skin while sitting behind him on a horse. Great.
Some male guy, some male dude
That's in the
sucked
Ashifa,
the
page 32.
backside of Muhammad?
Yeah, yeah. Get a copy here. Get a copy. Okay. Actually, I'll send you. You can. I'll drop
Guys,
this in.
this whole link is already in the description of the video. So you
Drop
can
this
get
in
this
the
whole
chat. Yeah.
PDF and all the links are in there, and Lloyd just shared this particular link as well.
Let's
So
do it again.
so Muhammad was sucked by Male dudes. FYI.
Some guy put
By the
his
way,
mouth
brother.
on Muhammad's back, and yeah,
Yeah. By the way,
yeah.
brother, like this is a miracle which everyone could see and smell. Why were these people saying in the Quran, where Allah is saying that these people are asking Muhammad for miracle, when these are so apparent miracle that everyone can smell and touch and do all that, then why Quran in 7 different locations saying, I have not given you any miracle?
Because Allah knows best. I don't. So let's continue with Muhammad's miracles. Whenever the Prophet relieved himself, the earth would swallow his feces. That spot would be fragrant like musk.
Oh
It has
man.
been narrated on the authority of Aisha. When you go to the toilet to relieve yourself, and the person who goes after you does not find anything there, and the Prophet said, Allah has commanded the earth to swallow the feces of the prophets.
So his feces is also perfume?
Yes, and it's the earth swallows it. This is in the Kanz al Amal, volume 14, page number 117. Where do I find all this stuff? So, yeah, so understand. So let's continue. Okay. In the Maqasidul Islam, ninth part, page blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's a hadith that says whenever the Holy Prophet relieved himself, okay, this is a hadith from the Ashifa, the earth would swallow up Muhammad's feces and only fragrance would be left behind. Now,
Oh.
this scholar tells us, is there anyone who claims that his body gives fragrance? This is proof of Muhammad's prophethood. Because finding this out is easy. Whoever makes such a claim, make him wear wool clothes in summer and let him sit in the sun. Then a stranger should be asked to sit next to him. If the stranger does not run away muttering under his breath, then we will talk. This will show that the stink was of that person's body only. Can the claim that such stinking bodies are equivalent to the fragrant feces be acceptable? Never. This is the grandeur of Muhammad's feces. This is the majesty of Muhammad's feces. They are 1,000 times better than the bodies of others.
I have nothing to say except, brother, next time do a research that when Muhammad was killed, they did not bury him for 3 days until his body started to stink, and
Think.
bring that and add it into it as well.
So, of course, Muhammad splits the moon with a wave of his hand, as you know, but we won't go into that too much. But Muhammad splits the moon, okay?
The
So,
moon of Aisha, right? Not the real moon.
get your mind out of the gutter, man. Get your mind out of the gutter,
Man, that's what
okay?
Muhammad did to 9 years old child, man.
Dude, so understand. So some of the miracles, if you go through these Gospels of Muhammad, they'll tell you there's the miraculous splitting of the moon and the delaying of the setting of the sun. Muhammad not only split the moon, he delayed the setting of the sun. There's the miracle of the water that flowed through his fingers, the miracle of the water that flowed on account of the blessing of the Prophet, the miracle of the increase in the amount of food on account of his blessing, the miracle of the tree that spoke, the miracle of the palm that cried when Muhammad left. There are
Oh.
miracles related to inanimate things, miracles with animals, the miraculous revival of the dead. Muhammad raised the dead. There are babies and suckling infants that spoke and bore witness to Muhammad. The miraculous healing of the sick and the blind and the incurable, and miracles and blessings that were transformed through his touch. And you can find that on balagha.net, Shifa, Miracles of the Prophet's Characteristics, section 10. Whatever. This look, my entire presentation is available. There's a link. You can go check it yourself, see if I
It's
made
in the
this up.
description. It's in the description, guys. You can check it. You can see it. By the way, I have done a stream on the donkey of Muhammad, who Muhammad could talk to, and that donkey accepted Islam. Previously, he did not used to like the female donkeys. He only liked the male donkeys. Then he accepted Islam, by the way, and he started to like the females as well. So, FYI.
So understand, the Kaaba was the very first house of worship ever built for mankind. The Kaaba in Mecca was the very first house of worship ever built. Okay.
And we don't have archaeological evidence for that, but please.
You disbeliever. You disbeliever. You. I don't believe. How can you not accept the evidence? You know what, Adam? I'm going to make you wear wool and we're going to sit you in the sun. And if you start stinking, we know you're not as good as Muhammad.
For
His
sure.
poop is a, his poop is 1,000 times better than you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Holy, I mean, like, holy poop. Holy,
Holy
holy,
poop.
holy poop. So
Man,
understand the Kaaba was built by Adam and was rebuilt by the prophets Abraham and Ishmael. So now you know Adam was in Mecca and he built the Kaaba himself, and then it was rebuilt by Abraham and rebuilt. And you can find this in a book called When the Moon Split, the biography of the Prophet
woohoo!
Muhammad. So Muhammad split the moon. It's in Hadith of Bukhari. Okay. And he splits the moon again in Bukhari. The moon was split into two, Bukhari. The moon was two parts, Bukhari, Muslim. The moon was split in two parts. And then the smoke, the moon, and the Bukhari. Okay. So now we know. Let's, move on. So Mo miraculously healed people. Okay. He healed the
You.
eyes of Ali ibn Abi Talib and cured the leg of Salama during the Battle of Khaybar. Now, you should note that there is a goddess called Aphrodite, the Greek goddess or the Roman goddess called Aphrodite. Her symbol was the star, right? Uh, the Arab name, the Arabized name of Aphrodite is Khaybar. Khaybar means the great, okay? She
Mhm.
was Akbar.
Yep.
So Aphrodite, the Akbar, just so you know. And of course, the Kaaba is where Aphrodite used to stand. And yeah, you put this together. I am busy working on this in a different presentation.
That's a
But
2 plus 2, man. Nice.
so this is from famous but unauthentic stories from the Sirah of Prophet Muhammad. Oh, I'll paste that link in here. This is such a great name. Famous but unauthentic stories from the Sirah.
And this
This
is
is
this is awesome. Like I love this the title of the book. Famous but unauthentic. So why are you even putting it in a book?
and this is by Muslim scholars that they're telling you these stories are fake.
They're still giving you. So they are saying these stories are fake, but they're still giving you these stories.
Yes, exactly. So, but notice now, so we've got to read this and see what it says, right? Famous but unauthentic. But Bukhari says, hold on, this stuff is legit. Someone informed Muhammad that this guy was suffering from eye trouble. So Muhammad said, bring Ali in front of me. The Prophet spat in his eyes. Do you know of another miracle worker that spat in someone's eyes and cured their blindness?
Yeah, but like that book is da'if, corrupted according to Muslimin, but in that book we see that Jesus did that.
Yeah. So I went to the Prophet and he puffed his saliva in it into the wound and have not had any pain since. That's Bukhari, right? In Da'if Bukhari, as you know, it's in Da'if Bukhari. I don't know why they call it Sahih Bukhari. I mean, what the hell?
No,
We
for
all
these
know
kind of
it's
hadiths, brother, for these kind of hadiths, the hadiths which favors Muhammad, it's Sahih. The hadiths which does not favor Muhammad, then is they are da'if, brother. It's a
yeah, no, no.
selective da'if, not.
What hadith? I only follow the Quran. I only follow the Quran. This is not, what is this hadith nonsense, Adam?
Brother,
It's only
this
the
is
Quran.
Brother, this is only to prove Muhammad. Whenever they need to prove something, they will go to hadith. But if you will give some hadith, they will reject it. This is why it is, brother, there.
Yeah, of course. So now you've learned a little bit about the three some of the 300 miracles of Muhammad. So yes, they admit they're lying. So understand these people are all over the place. They can't make up their mind. Aisha calls the major scholars of Islam liars. And if you go and read some of the scholarly works, they'll say, Aisha is very special. Aisha is very important, but Aisha is wrong.
But didn't Muhammad married, according to the hadith, Muhammad married Aisha at such an early age so that she could memorize what Muhammad is saying and she could spread it. Brother, is that not a hadith?
Don't confuse me with the facts, okay, Adam? You're
Oh,
confusing me
sorry.
with the facts.
Sorry, brother. Sorry. Sorry. I'm not supposed to give facts. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, these facts are confusing me. Stop that. You know?
Uh, sorry. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, gee, like my brain. So, but so understand these guys can't make up their minds. If you start showing Muslims the Sirah, their brains will explode because they don't ever want you to know this stuff. Okay, so it is proven from this hadith that in casual and crucial circumstances, a person offering prayer may spit in the mosque. Now, an honest question to my Christian friends: how often do you spit in church?
Would never do such a thing.
So, yeah, yeah. So, but apparently, okay, a person may spit in the mosque. Now, I personally, if I had to, I guess I'd use a tissue or I'd get up and go to the toilet. I don't know, something. Maybe I'd swallow it if I had to, but yeah, you can spit in a mosque. Now, of course,
Casually. Yeah, he says
casually,
casually.
casually, casually, in
Yeah.
casual, and crucial circumstances. Exactly, Dragon. Never. We don't spit in church. That would be disgusting. But understand, Anas bin Malik narrated. Now, this is to spit in the masjid is a sin, and burying it is its atonement. So if you spit in the mosque, pick it up and then bury it outside, that's okay. But you can spit. So don't spit because it's a sin, but you can spit, it's okay. Okay?
Brother, now you're confusing me. Can we spit or can we not spit?
Don't confuse me with questions that are factual, okay?
Oh, sorry, brother. Sorry. Once again, I have to say so many times sorry, brother.
Exactly. Look, just Allah knows best, okay? Just tell yourself Allah knows. Dude,
Brother, you are
doesn't make
wrong.
any sense.
Allah knows breast, not best. Allah knows breast.
Yeah.
That's what he said in Quran. Uruban atraba, those women which are very, very horny, they will have full round breasts. So Allah knows breasts.
You know, there's a Muhammad joke about that. Did you know that Muhammad had a special way of making women's breasts seem larger?
Oh,
He had small hands.
that's a good one, brother.
Sorry, okay, maybe that was wrong of me, but sorry about that. Okay, so let me get my mind out of the gutter and get back to business. So what has been related about it being disliked to spit in the masjid? When you are in salat, then do not spit on your right, but behind you or towards your left or under your foot. So in other words, you can spit, don't spit, it's a sin, but spit, but not to your right. Just spit to your left or spit under your foot. So don't spit, but do spit, but spit to the left or spit under your foot, but don't spit because it's a sin, but you can spit anytime you want. You can do it casually.
Now you are confusing me, brother. Hello. That is confusing me now. Like, and this is Jamiatul Tirmidhi and it is Sahih. So you can casually spit, but if you spit, you are going to Jahannam, means hell. But if you want to spit, spit on your left side under your feet, but you cannot spit. So
Yes. So look, if you can't understand this, then you
you're
see
a kafir.
that's why you need to be a Muslim to understand this stuff.
Oh,
So okay, so so let me move forward here. Let me just run on here. So there's a lot more of this, but understand that according to Tafsir Kashif al Asra, there's a prophet on the way whose kingdom will be greater than the kingdom of the world's folk. He will be a master. On his forehead will be the light of prostration, his eyebrows the light of humility, his hair the light of beauty, in his eyes the light of heedfulness, in his face the light of mercy, between his shoulders the light of prophecy, in his heart the light of recognition, blah, blah. Sorry, I fell asleep there for a second.
yeah.
Um, so in his jealousy, the light of presence, he will blah, blah. He's described in the Psalms. His community is considered the most excellent in the scriptures. He will dispel the darkness with light. He's Ahmad the Prophet. So now you've got, this is tafsir, okay? This is in the tafsir. So understand these people are making these claims. And of course, right? So yeah, you've got all of this stuff going on. The light of prophecy. So the light of Muhammad is a real thing for Muslims, okay? So this is the light of Muhammad and the light of manifestation. So Muhammad is the light of Allah. It's the light of the world.
Oh man, yes. He sure is, brother. He's the light, man. I know. I already saw the light 1600 kilometer away emitting out of her mother already. I'm a full
So yeah,
believer.
so understand the origin of the soul is the absolute light, nothing else. That means it was the light of Muhammad. So your soul is a fragment of the light of Muhammad. Okay, I showed this at the last show, the first episode. So your soul is a fragment of the light of Muhammad, and prophets like Jesus and Adam and Moses and Noah and David, they have a larger fragment than you, but that's why you're a Muslim, you see, because your soul is made, shaped out of the light. See, Allah took a piece of himself and made Muhammad, and then out of Muhammad's light, he took a smaller piece and made your soul. Aren't you a lucky guy? How
Oh
do you
man,
feel, Adam?
I feel very blessed right now. And my poo poo will smell as well a little bit from because of the light or not.
Um, Dude, now that's a good question. That's a good question.
I have a part of
Um,
that light, you know.
you have a part of that, yeah. But do you know that the most common miracle in Islam is the poo-poo of Muhammad? Because he did so at least what once, twice a day for 23 years before he died. So think about it. Muhammad had thousands of poop miracles.
Wow. And each and every poop miracle smells so good. People would be crying over getting his poo poo. But the
Well,
earth is taking it.
maybe we should go to Mecca and start digging. What do you think?
Man, the earth took all the poo poo, and it was such miraculous poo poo, you know. You could just place it in
Exactly.
your home and it will smell, the whole home will smell so good.
So in fact, there are stories. Someone just mentioned, but in fact, literally, there are stories where Muhammad grabs the trees and he walks with the trees, and the trees walk behind him. So he takes the trees, he pulls the trees behind him, and they walk behind him and they cover him, and the stones form behind him and they cover him to give him privacy while he's taking a dump. So this happened, and then afterwards, the trees go back, and no evidence is left that anything happened. Very convenient.
Wow. Wow.
So
I
yeah, the
love
prophetic.
these miracles which doesn't have any evidence, man. I love them.
It's look. That's why you have to. Allah knows best. Okay, Allah has
Oh,
small hands. So the prophetic light is in fact nothing other than that of the first light of Allah's creation emanation. Okay, called Tajali. Now, don't forget, this is a Gnostic concept. This emanation is a very Gnostic concept. The prophet existed before the physical appearance of his body. Okay, so he's the principle of the light of lights, the ancient name Kalmai Kadim. Not only did Muhammad exist in a pre-eternal form as light, so Muhammad was pre-eternal. Remember, only Allah is eternal. Allah is the only eternal thing to ever exist, except for the Quran, which is also completely eternal, which has always been eternal, except Allah is the only thing that's eternal, and everything else was created except for the Quran, which is eternal and was uncreated, except it's created because Allah made things that because he's the only eternal thing. And now you find out Muhammad was also pre-eternal. So, so yeah, so every light of every prophet, saint, and mystic was formed and created out of Muhammad's light. In fact, it was for this alone that creation came into being, and through this light alone, it must return. Your soul must return to the light of Muhammad.
so you're going back to Muhammad? You'll become Muhammad eventually?
Yes, yes, yes. So this is Nur al-Muhammadi by Ibn al-Arabi. This is a very famous scholar and a very famous document. But notice, then spoke Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life, in John 8:12. So in other
Amen.
words, Muhammad becomes Jesus. Muhammad is a parody of Jesus. Muhammad is the counterfeit parody of Jesus.
And brother,
Crimson
that's the
Orange.
main point. Yeah, that's the main point. When we say Jesus is the light of the world, we believe him to be God. We
Yes.
believe Jesus to be God. Hence, we are not performing any shirk. We we know he's God. He came and dwelt among us. When you say Muhammad is not God, yet he is the light and essence of God, then how could he not be God? You see
Yeah.
the dilemma over here.
Correct. Yeah, no, exactly. No, so when you read the Sirah, Muhammad is divine. Muhammad is, remember, in the last show we discussed, Muhammad is the reason that Allah created the earth and the universe, right? Muhammad's light adorns the throne of Allah, known as the the Arsh, okay?
Arsh.
Yeah, the Arsh. So Muhammad's light adorns the throne of Allah, okay? Muhammad's light shines and makes heaven bright. Muhammad's light shines in the world. The sun, the light of the sun is the light of Muhammad that brightens the world. Muhammad's light adorns all creation. Every room and every aspect of creation is adorned by the light of Muhammad. And the earth was made for Muhammad. So in the Quran, when it says that the world was made for me, a place of prayer, okay? There's a verse about along
Hmm.
those lines in the Quran.
Hmm.
What that means is the world was literally made for him. The world
Yes.
was made for Muhammad. And the whole world must be under Islam.
And by the way, like I said it last time as well, I grew up listening and believing this, that if it was not for the love of Allah to Muhammad, he would not have created this world. Allah
Yes,
created this world for the love of Muhammad because he created him. And before he put Muhammad into flesh and blood, he then created Adam because he wanted to give Muhammad a world to live in, and that is why he is the last prophet, because he came to fulfill everything and he came to finalize everything. And Allah loved him so much that he sent him in the last, and he did not keep him for a very long time here because he just wanted to get back, bring him back to himself. For the time he was here, Allah was so lonely and he brought him back. So that's what it is.
Yes. Now, so look, I've missed a number of questions that came in. I'm looking at the YouTube chat, but I've missed a number of questions. So if there are questions, please start asking them. Some people have mentioned that they're trying to make Mo a deity. Look, when you read the Sirah, the Gospels of Muhammad, he is a deity. He is deified. He is Jesus. You need to understand this. Muhammad is Jesus. Muhammad is literally a piece of Allah. Okay, he is. Allah took a piece out of himself and made Muhammad, and then he took pieces of Muhammad and made the prophets, and then he took pieces of Muhammad and made your souls. That's why you're a Muslim today, right? Everybody's a Muslim because you contain the light of Muhammad. Okay, now, interestingly, um, if you look at the word Phos, okay, if you go to if you go to the Strong's G5457, right, you go to the Strong's Concordance of the Bible, they speak of Phao, which is Phos, to shine or to make manifest, okay, especially by rays of light. So, Phos is the light emitted by a lamp, a heavenly light such as surrounds angels when they appear on earth. Anything emitting light, a star, okay, and a lamp or a torch. Now remember, in the first episode, I spoke about how many of these seerahs talk of Muhammad as being a lamp, right? So Muhammad was placed on a lamp, or Muhammad is the lamp. So basically, they're taking these Christian concepts and they're applying it to Muhammad, but they're twisting them. They're also stealing a lot of Gnostic concepts. Now, that's a story for a different day. I've got actually a different presentation using in PowerPoint in a lot of detail talking about Muhammad stolen out of the Quranic stories stolen out of the Gnostic Gospels. Okay, the heretical Gnostic Gospels. Any comments from
Brother,
you, Adam?
can I bring a verse of Quran on the light
Sure.
and the lamp? Because you are going to like this because of how things are running. It's a very appropriate verse over here. Check this out. So it's Quran chapter number 24, verse number 35. And it says, Allah is the, let me pick an easy translation. Sorry, let's go for Sahih International because that will be the easiest one. Sahih International. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Now, that is the light of Allah, Nur of Allah. Now,
Mm-hmm.
look at how it explains. The example of this light is like a niche within which a lamp. The lamp is within the glass as if it were pearly white stars lit from the blessed olive tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil would almost glow, even if untouched by the fire. Light upon light, Allah guides to His light, whom He wills, and Allah presents example to the people, and Allah is knowing of all. Even though it is a whole drama, but when you go to the exegesis of this verse, you get to see Muhammad deified through this verse as well. That this is the light, this is the lamp, and this is the light that our brother is talking about, where they bring up the light and they say the lamp and etc etc, and this is the light of Allah that Allah took. By the way, this light is so limited that it's in a lamp, FYI.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I'll bring up. So interestingly, so there's numerous Sharia manuals, right? Scriptural books, spiritual books in Islam called the niche of lights, the lights of something, the something lights. This constant reference to that. I want to show you also where they're stealing and plagiarizing some of these ideas. Let's look at the First Council of Nicaea, the Nicene Creed. Right. Now, remember, the Nicene Creed was a refutation of heresies. It was an affirmation of Christian beliefs, right? Universal Christian beliefs, and a refutation of the heresies of the day, right? We believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, right? God of God, light of light. Now, there's different versions of the Nicene Creed, worded slightly differently, but light of light, okay? Very God of God, begotten, not made. So understand, Muhammad is begotten, okay? He's the light of light. He is the very God, the very essence of God. He is consubstantial with the Father, of one with the Father, by whom all things were made, both in heaven and earth. So understand, in the Sirah, they are plagiarizing this, and Allah explicitly states, I am making the universe for you, Muhammad. Okay? His family will bring salvation. Muhammad came down to earth and was made incarnate. Okay? Muhammad suffered. Okay? So, okay, he didn't rise again, but he's going to come back.
Suffer from
Okay?
insomnia?
I don't know, dude. But he made people go blind because if they saw him naked, they'd go blind. You know that now.
That's a good one, yes.
So understand, they've plagiarized the Gnostic heretical gospels, they've plagiarized the Nicene Creed, they've plagiarized the Bible left and right. And I want to show you one other thing that I showed last week. I'm just going to change my screen sharing. Let me go back here. So just check if there are any questions, please, from the just check if there are any
So
questions from the
guys,
audience.
whoever has a question, please tag me so that I could see the orange thingy and I will catch it up.
So this is a one of the so the major scholar in Islam after Muhammad himself is a man called Al-Ghazali. He is called the Hujjat al-Islam. He's the proof of Islam. This is the man that proved that Islam is true. Through his efforts, he was the one who reconciled all of these supposed contradictions in Islam, and he proved that Islam is true. Am I sharing? You guys are seeing my sharing
Yes, brother,
screen?
you are sharing. You are sharing.
Okay. So this is the Mishkat al-Anwar, the niche for lights, okay, by Al-Ghazali. Okay. And I want to show you something, which I've shown to people the previous show, but I want to show you now. Al-Ghazali was a Sufi, and the major scholars in Islam are not your Qadis, your Sheikhs. They're the Sufis. Okay, that's a long story. Check the last show, please, for that. I don't want to go through that again. But the major scholars in Islam, the prime scholars in Islam, are the Sufi. So there are those who stop short of complete illumination. Okay, and this is all confusing crap, but man, identified al-Mutta with Allah. Okay, and with his word of command, the Amr. Okay, and this contains much. So the all of these spiritual concepts of Islam contain much that is obscure and too difficult for most minds. That's why you have to be one of the scholars. And then Ghazali says that the perfect Illuminati perceived that Al-Mutta, the obeyed one, is not more than the highest other than absolute deity and is related to him as the sun to essential light. So first of all, the Muslims call the Sufi the Illuminati, the perfect Illuminati. And Muhammad is related to Allah like the sun to light. Understand? Muhammad, so just wanted to show you guys that, just so you saw that.
Oh man,
And
that is
make of it
great.
what you will. Make of it what you will. But so
By
I'm
the
just
way,
going
we
to go
have
back.
this question which is a little off topic, but why not?
Sure.
If Muhammad's grandparents named their son Mo's father Abdullah, slave of Allah, and Kaaba is full of idols during the life of Mo's grandparents, how they get around that?
Oh, I did some research on that. Okay, so yeah, hold on. I need to ponder this. I did some research on this. I have notes somewhere on that. So Allah existed. Okay, the name Allah as a God. In fact, the name La. So Allah is the God, right? Which is generic.
Mhm.
It's a descriptor. It's not a name. Allah, the God, right?
Yes.
So like the spoon, the jacket, the toilet roll. Okay, but Muhammad didn't need toilet rolls because, as you know, fragrance,
He- Oh yes.
right?
He wanted
So
it to be with him always.
so in pagan Arabia, now I don't have the notes in front of me, and I'm not going to be able to find it in time. But in pagan Arabia, you had at least two sects that had gods called Allah. And then there's a few facts that I'm going to forget here because, man, I wasn't thinking about it. But there are at least two sects that had a god called Allah, and there's at least one god called La, L-A-H. Okay?
Let me tell you, the Sabi'ins had the god Allah, and I have the Kinza Rabba of the Sabi'in, who
Right.
Muhammad called inside it. So they had Allah as well. Yes, brother.
Yeah. So the name Allah is very common. And of course, in these cases, Allah had a wife and daughters, right? He had, of course, a lot.
Allah and Al-Uzza.
Correct. Okay, so he had daughters. He had a wife and daughters, and so there's more to it. I just cannot remember, and I don't want to speak about things that I can't show you the evidence for. But yeah, so the name comes from. So he was a slave of Allah before Islam was created. Who was he a slave to exactly? So Allah obviously came along before. So clearly there are questions there that need to be answered.
All right, so let me give you something because we were talking about the poo poo of Muhammad. Let's share another thing. So this is somebody is saying, can we urinate while standing? So all
No,
praise be
no,
to
no,
Allah.
no. Why would you even ask a question like that? You know that you can't do that.
It is not haram for a man to urinate standing, but it is sunnah for him to urinate sitting down. Because Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, whosoever tells you that Prophet used to urinate standing up, do not believe in him. He only ever used to urinate sitting down. Narrated by Tirmidhi. Okay. So Tirmidhi and Aisha are saying Prophet Muhammad never urinated while standing up. Correct, brother?
Well, in fact, okay, so let me show you. Yes, in fact, I can go to those verses. So okay, one, there's a section in the Sharia, in the fiqh, in the Islamic law. There's a whole section on urination, and two, um, so let me actually show you
Yeah.
because people state that Muhammad urinate like a woman. Okay, it is
Okay.
actually stated in the. So hold on, let me
Yeah,
actually. So
yeah.
hold on.
Urinate
So
sitting
can I
down. Yeah,
share
you
my,
got it.
let me share my screen and I'll show you this. I'll show you a bunch of different references. So I will share. Am I sharing again?
Yeah, you are sharing again,
Yeah.
and you are not sharing
Okay,
again
hold on.
now.
I just
So, by the
no,
way, while you find that, let me share something.
I've got
Here
it.
it says
Got it here.
that it is
Okay.
also classified. It is also classified as Sahih by Albani in Tirmidhi, and because this is more concealing and it reduces the risk of drops of urine splashing upon you. So, because drops of urine is very bad, you should never have them on your body. So, urination has to be done while sitting. That's how it is. So, brother, yes, you're showing something.
Okay, so just a few points, and then I'll also show from the Sharia so people can actually see what Islamic law looks like. So, Muhammad and urine. The Prophet had a wooden vessel on his bed in which he would urinate at night. Okay, fine and well. And we know that a woman drank this.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, because it has Shafa in it, and the woman will never go to hell because he
and
drank the urine of Muhammad.
and a man drank it, and the people who drank it would never have stomach troubles. So the
Oh,
Messenger
yes.
of Allah forbade us to urinate while standing. Okay, Aitha says I always saw him urinating while sitting down. Okay, and of course in the hadith of Abdurrahman bin Hassan, it was said he sits down to urinate as a woman does. Then, narrated by Amr ibn al-As, Abdurrahman said, as we went to the Prophet, he came out with his leather shield in his hand. He covered himself with it and urinated. Then he said, look at him. He's urinating as a woman does. So Muhammad urinated like a woman.
Brother, hold on.
Now,
Before you go forward,
sure.
I'm gonna share something because we also are showing really nice urinating. So this is Sahih al-Bukhari. Hudayfa said, Sahih al-Bukhari, which is now going to be Daif. I saw Allah Messenger coming. Our Prophet came to the dump of some people. So he came where people used to dump, means do the poo poo, and urinated while standing. So did Sahih Bukhari became Daif suddenly, brother?
Yes, 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 anytime. And Bill, good grief. My head, I'm getting a headache. My head, stop, please stop. Please, please make it stop.
I'm sorry, brother. Okay, carry on.
So I'm going to show. So this is the Fiqh Sunnah by Syed Sabiq. Okay, so this is from one Sharia manual. One may not urinate while standing. Okay, so if you can guarantee that no impurities will touch your clothes, it is permissible to urinate while standing. Okay, but he only urinated while sitting. This hadith is related by the five except for Abu Dawud. Tirmidhi's comment is the best thing related on this point, and it is the most authentic. So he used to urinate like a woman sitting down. Okay, so, of course, some narrators who are interested in the Prophet's news and good qualities related when the Prophet intended to relieve himself, the earth swallowed up his excrement and urine and diffused a pleasant odor. Okay,
Ooh,
so now I'm going to change my screen. I'm going to show you from the Sharia itself. Okay, so you can see. I'm going to change to the actual. So this is okay. These are the rulings on going to the lavatory within Islamic law. Okay, so you don't have to go to the Hadith, you don't have to go to the Tafsir, you don't have to go to the Sirah, the Hadith, whatever. That's all written nicely here. When you go to the lavatory in Islam, it is recommended when one intends to use the lavatory to put something on your feet, unless you have an excuse, such as you don't have shoes.
uh-oh.
You cover your head, even with only with a handkerchief. Hold on a second. I got one of these things. Hang on. Okay, I feel better now. Do you feel better, Adam? I feel better.
Oh yes. Now, are you going to urinate here now?
So, sorry, you must set aside anything where there's the mention of Allah the Most High. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have brought my Quran into the toilet. Okay, you must ready your stones, okay, or other suitable material. Is this good, do you think? And if one uses them to clean oneself of filth, water alone is sufficient. To say before entering, in the name of Allah, I take refuge in you from demons, male and female. Dude, you should see the number of demons in my toilet.
Man, so many. And by the way, if you enter the toilet with the right foot, the Satan will come and he will play with your bowel. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you
So,
must say when you leave, your forgiveness, oh Lord, your forgiveness. Praise be to Allah who rid me of the hurt and gave me health. Then you must enter with your left foot first and depart with your right foot first, and together with number 3 and number 5 are not only for indoors but also outdoors. And you must not raise your garment until you squat down to the ground. You must keep your
amen.
nakedness covered as much as possible. And you must put most of your weight on the left foot. So, guys, I hope you're listening. Okay, especially you ladies, right? Weight on the left foot. All right. Do not
Whenever you're
spend a long
squatting.
time. Do not speak. Don't speak. In other words, don't go to the loo with your cell phone and have a conversation. All right.
Uh-oh.
This is a miracle of Islam. They figured this out long before. And when and it goes on and blah blah blah. Do not urinate while standing, which is offensive unless there is an excuse, such as when standing is less likely to splatter, and when sitting is a hardship. So yeah, so this is the Sharia. It goes on. 14 rules. 15. Do not urinate into holes or hard places where there is wind. Distance yourself from. Do not relieve oneself with one's front or rear facing the sun, the moon,
What?
or the sacred precinct in Jerusalem.
So you have to first get to know where the Jerusalem precinct is
So
before you go to urinate.
I especially built my toilet to face Mars. That way I know I'm safe.
Man.
So it is not lawful to urinate on anything edible, bones, anything deserving respect, a grave, or in a mosque. So don't you guys, please don't urinate in the mosque. Guys, stop that. What are you doing? Don't urinate in the mosque. The fact that they have to say this, I don't know, man. What do you think, Adam? The fact that they have to tell people don't take a pee in the mosque.
Man, but you know, Muhammad didn't. Okay, whatever. Muhammad didn't do anything when somebody peed in the mosque. He says just throw the water into it. So peeing in the mosque. By the way,
Exactly.
who would somebody pee in the mosque?
I
Like,
don't
who
know.
would
How
do
often do you
that?
pee in church? How often does anyone you know pee in church?
But like,
Like
why would
never.
somebody pee in the church or a mosque? Don't they know that this is?
I don't know.
If
So
if
so
you have to tell this to somebody, it means those were animals living at that particular time, and they were animals, nothing more.
so understand you've just seen now how the rules of the Sharia work, okay? So in other words, so yeah, this is how it works. There are numerous rules. Don't pee towards Mecca. Don't have your back towards Mecca and take a dump. It's insane.
Ah,
This is Islam.
man.
This is Islam. I mean, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, man. So understand we have. So you know that Muhammad was gullible,
Oh
right?
yes, Muhammad was very
Am I
gullible. We
sharing it?
know
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Here it is. So this is again from the life of Muhammad from Ibn Ishaq Ibn Hisham, right? The Sirat Rasulullah by Guillaume. This is page 243, section 357. Okay, page 243 up here, section 357 down here. Whoever wants to see Satan, let him take a look at Nabtal bin al-Harith. He was a sturdy black man with long flowing hair and flamed eyes and dark cheeks. He used to come and talk to the apostle and listen to him and then carry what he said to the hypocrites. It was he who said, Muhammad is all ears. If anyone tells him anything, he believes it. Okay, so Muhammad was gullible. Now, look, I have a different presentation which discusses more about this. The Quran has 3 verses that mention. You mentioned the mad poet, and there's a couple
Hmm.
of others which says that Muhammad has stories and tales and fables of the ancients dictated to him morning and night, and he
Yep.
listens to them and he has them dictated to him. So yeah, he was gullible. So now I want to just mention some of the evidence for the satanic verses. Shall we go there? You have a comment?
No, no, this is like I'm laughing and enjoying because at the same time, this is like, in Pakistan, when they make their houses, and in their houses, when they make toilets, they make sure that the toilet seat or the location of the toilet seat should be placed in such a way that it is not facing Makkah. Do you know that?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, you
standard.
can't poop in the direction of Mecca. I mean, but I thought you poop downwards myself. I normally don't poop horizontally, but maybe things are different in Pakistan.
Yeah, the seat has to be made in such a way that it is nowhere directing towards the Makkah. Secondly, when you place your beds in your bedroom, when you place your beds, you have to make sure that the leg part, so when you sleep, your legs would not go towards the Makkah. So your placement of the beds are very important in Pakistan at least, and obviously in other Muslim countries as well, and the people who are coming out of the Muslim countries, that the placement of bed has to be in such a way that your legs could never face Makkah.
That's
So this
crazy.
is this is how zealous they are for all of these things. But
Yeah, I mean,
that's
these are rules. These are just rules upon rules. It's like the Talmud in many ways because they stole a lot of these concepts from the Jewish Talmud. But in many cases, they've inverted these rules. They've actually flipped them upside down. And it's actually very sad when you read some of them. You can see where they took, like, when we saw the ruling on lying, and there's lots of people who misunderstand or don't know the Talmud, which I do fairly well. I've read quite a lot of it. Um, for instance, to circumvent people trying to oppose Islam, you must lie. It's obligatory, as we saw. Whereas in the Talmud, they say it is illegal. Okay, it is blasphemy. It desecrates the name of God for a Jew to try to circumvent a Gentile by lying. So it actually states that it is blasphemy. It is the desecration of the name of God to lie to circumvent a Gentile. The Jew must tell the truth. And this is what's in the Talmud. People will claim otherwise. They'll make the claim, they'll half quote or misquote what's actually in the Talmud. So Islam has inverted a lot of these Talmudic rulings.
So you are telling me even Talmud, which is the one of the most bad book about Jesus and all, even Talmud is negating it, that this is
I
wrong,
can
this is
show
bad.
you things in the Talmud. A lot of the claims about Jesus. Now, look, there's some truth, but I would say it's 80% false. Most of those claims, because just to not to go off topic, but the Talmud. Look, this is not to claim that rabbinic Jews are not maybe mistaken, are not misled, are not. This is not to claim that the Talmud is holy, but there's certainly value in the Talmud. You need to read it, you need to understand it. But people have lied about it for so long. But on that point. the there's very little reference to Jesus in the Talmud. It's extremely little reference. I mean, I can actually bring up the notes. I won't do so now, but at a different time, I can actually bring up the notes, show people, right? But one of the stories, for instance, about Jesus in the Talmud that people quote about Jesus going to Egypt, Jesus coming back as a witch, as a warlock or whatever, as a sorcerer. This is written 200 years before the birth of Jesus. Okay, it's
Hmm.
talking about a different person called Jesus because the name was a common name. So people are saying, look what the Jews believe about Jesus. This is a story about a man who just happened to have the same name of Joshua, Yeshua, 200 years before Jesus was born. They were not talking about him. This is an old myth that goes way back. And if you look at different versions of the Talmud, many of them have no reference to Jesus, and some do. And in some of them, we know that be it Catholics or be it other religious people, they inserted. There's evidence that they inserted some of these deliberately to smear the Jews so they could attack the Jews and steal their property. So there's a lot to be said there. And in fact, they speak of Jesus being in hell. Judaism doesn't have a concept of hell. So there's lots of issues, but that's a story for a different time. I'd have to go through the notes, and we're not here to discuss that particular problem. All right. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So now we have a question on the topic, Adam. All these rules make us slaves of rules. Jesus came to release all tippies, tips
type,
of
type,
slavery,
type.
types of slavery. including slavery from rules. God bless you all. Great job. So this is not a question, sorry, but that's thank you so very much for appreciating the live stream. And this was all Lloyd. Lloyd is doing a great research and he is giving us a lot of information. And by the way, brother Lloyd, I'm gonna move you back. That you told us earlier in the stream that Muhammad's father has a light,
Yeah, yeah. There's there from one of yes.
and his that light was given to Muhammad's mother.
It left Muhammad's father. Yeah, should I find it? Because I wanted to end on the. So what my plan was to end on Muhammad being Baphomet.
Awesome.
Okay, was
Stop,
to
stop,
end
stop.
on this.
Don't do that yet. Let's fix that part because I wanted to
Um,
show something, but you moved in very fast on that point.
so
So
what, you want me to go to Muhammad's father
yeah,
being the
yeah,
Lord?
yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. I can't remember the name of the scholar now.
By the way, guys, while Lloyd finds it, Lloyd's channel is in the description of this video. Please subscribe to Lloyd's channel. He is doing an awesome job. He is digging into deep into the Islamic literature and he's showing these things which even I would say 50 to 60% of Muslimin do not know. So Lloyd is doing
Yeah.
an awesome job. Carolina just sent Lloyd's channel and his PayPal and everything.
Oh.
So
You know
please
something I should
subscribe
also
to his
talk
channel.
about is Muhammad and Seaman and Aisha and Seaman. There's like a couple of dozen of these hadith. That's disgusting.
Oh man. Okay, let's not bring the semen yet. Let's bring this and then we'll go to the satanic verses. The material is also in the description. There is a link. Click on it and you will go to OneDrive of Brother Lloyd and he has shared all of this for every one of you to use it and show to the people. So Brother Lloyd's material is already in the description, guys. So while Brother Lloyd brings up the references which he already shown today, that the light of Allah which was given to Muhammad, and then from that Muhammad's light it was given to Muhammad's father. Then again the father of Muhammad is in hell. Brother Lloyd, do you know that?
That, the scholars don't want to talk about that. But in theory, that would be the case. But they claim that they would be given a special place. But I mean, it's just a claim.
Brother, it is in Sahih, which you can claim to be Daif. A man asked, where is my father, Messenger of Allah? Sunnah Abi Dawud 4718. He replied, the Messenger of Allah replied, your father is in hell. When he turned his
Oh,
back, he said,
wow.
my father and your father are in hell. Let me share the link with everyone. So Muhammad's father, who had the light, is in hell. Then this same hadith is narrated in, I think, Sahih Muslim as well. Anas reported, verily a person said to Messenger of Allah, where is my father? He said, he is in fire, means hell. When he turned away, the Holy Prophet called him and said, verily, my father and your father are in fire, means Nare Jahannam, means the hell. So according to Sahih Muslim, now you can put it Daif, and according to Ibn Sunnah Abi Dawud, both are claiming that Muhammad's father is in hell, and they are all classified as Sahih. The same father who has the light emitting from his forehead, the Nur Allah, is in hell. Now, let's go to some other passage. This one, Sahih Bukhari, it says, it was mentioned before Aisha that Ibn Umar attributed the following statement to the Prophet. The dead person is punished in the grave because of crying and limitation of his family. So why does the dead person get punishment in the grave, brother? Because the family of that person is crying on the grave, right?
Oh, wow.
So the dead person is punished in the grave because of the crying and limitation of his family. Can you please translate that word for me?
Lamentation, the crying, the sadness, the crying of his family. Yeah, the lamentation, the wailing and lamentation, the sadness, the regret of the family.
Perfect, perfect. On that, Aisha said, by Allah Messenger, the dead person is punished for his crimes and sins, while his family crying over them. He added, and this is similar to the statement of Allah and etc. 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 and etc. So Allah Messenger, when he stood by the edge of the well well, which contained the etc. etc. Forget the rest of the part. Now we see Muhammad said that if you go and cry and do the crying at the grave, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? The
Sorry,
dead
I missed it.
person will get punished in the grave, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, now let's check this out. Allah apostle visited the grave of his mother and he wept and moved other around to the tears because of his weeping and crying and
Great.
limitation, and said, I sought permission from my Lord to beg forgiveness for her, but it was not granted to me. And I sought permission to visit her grave, and I was granted the permission to visit her grave, not of crying, not of lamentation, not of weeping, not of tearing. Brother, so if you
He punished
weep,
his mother.
if thank you. So Momo wanted to punish his mother, who when gave birth to Momo had a light which went 1600 kilometers away, and Momo punished her mother in the grave by Allah's punishment. Man, that is why I told you to bring me the hadiths that you showed earlier about the light transmitting from the father to the mother. But you know,
Okay, well, I've got it here. I have it so you can see. There's someone who's mentioned they can't find my channel. I'm just dropping it in the chat.
okay.
So yeah, if you just send back the share, I'll show you this. We'll just have a look at it again. I must tell you, I've probably got enough material here for a third episode with a lot of material people I've never heard before. But yeah. So the light. Do you want to? Can you change the share, or should I
No, you are
share
not
my
sharing,
screen?
brother. You are not sharing. So share and I will switch.
Okay,
So yeah.
sure.
So Muhammad punished, yes, guys. So Muhammad punished his mother in the grave. And by the way,
Crazy.
brother Lloyd, this is brother Lloyd's channel. This one. And please subscribe to his channel. By the way, his channel is not hard to find. You just have to spell
Name.
LLOYD, and then you will find it very easily.
It's my name. Yeah. So the light of the Prophet, may Allah's blessings and police be upon him, manifested itself in his parents before and during his birth. So his prophethood was seen within his parents. So the light of Muhammad was seen in his parents before he was born. Muhammad's biographers have recorded that his fathers, and this is coming from Masood.co.uk, Islam, the Nuri Muhammadi.htm, by Dr. Mustafa Badawi, with a list of references. Okay, so check out this link here. Again, this link to this presentation with much more material is in the description. Okay, there's a ton here. So I didn't write this. I'm just telling you what they're saying. This guy's a doctor of Islam. Okay, PhD
PhD.
or whatever. PhD, exactly. Okay, PhD is in Islam. It's short for piled high and deep.
Oh, wow. That's, oh my goodness. That is awesome. Goodness gracious. So, say it again, man. It was so awesome.
Piled high and deep. So So yeah, okay. So his biographers have recorded that his father's forehead shone with a light that a certain woman from Quraysh noticed. She knew the typos are theirs. Okay, I just copied this. She knew that the appearance of the prophet of the end of times was imminent. His mother knew, and she felt that Abdallah's forehead signaled his being the father. She offered herself to him, but he refused. Soon Abdallah married Amina, and once she became pregnant with the prophet, the light vanished from his forehead. He met the same woman again, and noticing she no longer wanted him, asked her why. Now, isn't that weird? He's married to her, and he met the same woman again and noticed she no longer wanted him and asked her why. Was this a different woman?
I have
Oh,
no idea.
a certain woman. Oh, a certain woman. So a different woman. So he
Probably
met the
different.
same woman again, and noticing that she no longer wanted him, asked her why. She replied that he no longer carried that light on his forehead. As
By
for
the
the
way,
lady Amina, yeah,
the horses, the studs, you know. So
yeah.
Muhammad's father was a stud horse. They would. I have done a live stream on that. So a woman will come to him and say, "Come sleep with me for the night. I'm not getting a baby. Probably from you, I will get the baby." So
No
he
way.
was acting as a stud as well, and I did a whole live stream on that. So
You
yeah,
know, people should look up. There's an article which has since been removed, but you can find someone who backed it up on a site called Brother Pete. He made a copy of it called occulthood, or the practice of the occult in the family of Muhammad. Okay, or
Hmm.
which talks about how Muhammad's family was all involved in the occult, in the various pagan priesthoods. That Khadija was very, very probably a priestess in one of the occult. Um, she was a high priestess in one of the occult groups. That, so it's just, you just got to read through Ibn Abi Talib, his grandfather, his uncle. You just got to read all this stuff, and it's like they're all connected to the occult in some way.
Wow,
So
yeah,
that's the way.
we
So
gotta do
that's the
that
way.
cult sip soon. Sorry, brother. Yes.
Yep. So yeah, I'm busy working on that as well. There's a lot I'm researching. It's just, so Lady Amina, when she became pregnant, she saw a dream vision that a light came out of her that lit the land as far as Syria. Now, if this happened at night, someone should have seen it. But of course, the moon was split at night, so no one saw it because everyone was asleep. So she
So
was
that
also told that, yeah,
so it is the same time that when the light was emitting, everyone was sleeping and nobody saw the light.
duh.
Okay, all right. Now I understand. Now I understand. Okay.
Yeah, it's obvious, right? I mean, it's like, so she was also told in her dream that she was pregnant with the master of this nation, and the sign of that would be that when she gave birth to him, she would see a light coming out with him that would shine over Basra in Syria. When this happens, she was told, call him Muhammad. I conceived him, she said, and suffered no pain. When he came out of me, a light came out with him that illuminated everything from east to west. So I don't
Wow.
know, maybe,
So
and she said
this
that's,
holy
yeah,
woman, this holy woman, forget the rest of the part. That's all.
sure,
All
sure.
I needed. This holy woman and this holy man who has the light, and the light is being seen from miles and miles away. They are
Yeah.
both burning in hell. Man, amazing.
When you
Absolute
put it
amazing.
like that, yes, that is crazy. These holy people, the Lady Amina, the light, and yeah, and his father carried the light, and his father carried the light that he transferred. So his father was the bearer of the light that he gave to his son. That's crazy.
And the father is burning in nar, the fire, and the mother is burning in nar. Muhammad pledged to Allah, Allah, please forgive my mother. Allah said, no, no, go, get lost. Muhammad said, okay, can I go to his grave, her grave? Yes, you can. And then he started crying over there, where Allah said, if you cry on a grave, you will make her punish in the grave. Man, like seriously, man, this
This is
religion
insane.
is crazy, insane. By the way, guys, I have sent the live stream link where we discussed that Muhammad's father was a stud and Muhammad was born after many years, and that is why we have the fake of Islamia that you can give birth to a baby between 6 months to 7 years. So the baby can be in the tummy of the mother for up to 7 years. I don't know if it's an elephant baby or what, but yeah, 7 years.
Yeah, so this, man, Adam, there's so much I can talk about, so I'll start winding down. So Muhammad assures us, I was not sent as a curse, I was sent as a mercy. So he assures us I wasn't sent as a curse. And the message is a sword that brightens, Indian steel, a drawn sword of Allah. Now, of course, in the King James Version of the Bible, you've got, do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. So they plagiarize various of the gospel passages, right? So the sword of the Spirit is mentioned in Ephesians 6:17. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit. So they have basically, so Islam just constantly plagiarizes and then twists everything about Muhammad. Okay. So anyway, so now you got the Kitab Shifa, okay, the antidote in knowing the rights of the chosen prophet. Muhammad is the finest in lineage and upbringing. His intelligence was greater than any of the creation of Allah. He was the smartest man to ever live. His knowledge and understanding were of the highest standing. His compassion and mercy was the greatest of all humans. Allah purified him in body and spirit and protected him from any imperfection and blemishes. Okay.
Yoo-hoo!
Allah opened eyes that were blind and ears that were deaf. There's come to you a light from Allah and a manifest book. So, okay, so the Prophet is the light of Allah and a human being. In Masood.co.uk. So Muslims need to really do something about this, because these guys are teaching millions of Muslims some very bad theology. But Muhammad is of two natures, the light of Allah and is a human being. And the inability to join between the two aspects is a lack of understanding of the greatness of the Muhammadan reality.
Man, brother,
That
one
Muhammad
more,
has two natures.
one question now. Uh,
Yeah.
this guy has a very right question. He was so intelligent, so everything. So whatever. And then this guy
Can't
is
read.
asking, isn't he the person who can't read?
um, look, see, Muhammad used to take the pages, right? And then he would hold it up to his face and touch it, and it would suck in through osmosis.
Oh wow, that's a hadith that I was unaware of.
No, no, that's Sahi. Muhammad would just hold it up to his face, and knowledge would just come into his skin. So he didn't have to read. I mean, duh. Seriously, man, these Muslims have to make up their minds. Okay, so Muhammad again. So let's go back. He was the first creation which came into being. Was our holy prophet. He was the first thing ever made. Here are some proofs that our holy prophet was not only a human, but he was also a light. So Muhammad had two natures. Ibn
Who,
Abbas, the cousin
who
of the
has two
holy
natures?
prophet,
I know
Muhammad.
of only one who had two nature. This Muhammad is somehow taking something from there as well, as in two nature.
No, no, no. Muhammad is the original. He's the OG two natures guy.
Okay.
So I, so Ibn Abbas says that the similitude of the nur, the light of Allah, is the light of the holy prophet. Okay, and he was in the backs of ancestors. So Muhammad was a light. He was a divine light. He had his divine nature before he was born. Okay, and this is Ibn Abbas, his cousin. Okay, and undoubtedly, Allah Almighty created the light of the Prophet Muhammad before everything. And you can find a whole bunch of references. This is from the IslamicAcademy.org in Shiloh Road, Plano, in Texas. So these guys know what they're talking about. They've got a bunch of references here. Again, my notes are in the description. Go and read it yourself. So again, you've got all of this. Okay. Um, so yeah. So shall I go on and just cover some random things
I
before we end it?
I think I think it's pretty long. I want to talk about the satanic in a separate live stream because once again, it's a full-fledged topic in itself.
Okay.
But I want to bring up this comment. Carolina, sister, really love you as a sister. You are a very dear sister of mine. But how dare you compare me with Momo? Sister, like seriously, this seems like a compliment, but seriously, it's not a compliment. How can you compare me with Momo? Like seriously, sister, I love you, but this is not acceptable. Do not ever compare me with Momo, okay? Never. It's like comparing a pile of dump with a Ferrari, okay? So you can't do that, sister, at all. Never, okay? FYI. All right. So now we can bring up some questions if you guys have some
Yeah.
questions from now,
I'll stop
and then
here
we will
and
do, yeah, we'll do part three because that picture that our brother Lloyd showed, I wanna show you some more stuff related to that before he shows that, and it will take like an hour probably on just that, and we are already 2 hours 15 minutes into the discussion, and I know brother Lloyd is very sleepy right now. The poor guy
it's quarter
is.
past midnight. It's like 18 after midnight here. So
Oh my, I can understand that. So guys, any question before we close live stream and let brother Light go to sleep because he has a big day tomorrow again. So this is the
yeah,
time, brother Light.
yeah. Maybe I'll ask you questions. I hope that was interesting to learn things about Muhammad that you didn't know.
I think a lot of Muslimi knows some of these things because they are very common in Muslim countries, not in the Western countries, but in the Muslim countries at least. The whole situation is that they do not speak it out in front of non-Muslims. That is where you have the issue. They hide it from us, and if you state these things, they will do what? They will say, okay, they will say you are a liar. Where can I find the article? Brother, so many times I said, go to the description of this video and scroll to the end, and it says Brother Lloyd link for his research stuff free to download, and Brother Lloyd's channel. Please go to the description of the video and you will find it, brother.
Yeah. Also, Nathaniel asked me for the article on occultism in the family of Muhammad. I've just pasted the link in the chat. I'm just going to do it again. So that's the topic of occultism in the family of Muhammad. So just check in the chat. You can
Yeah,
read
we
it.
will do that. I'm showing it on the screen as well, and we will do a full topic on that very soon. Now last prophet is saying, please can we get the source of Muhammad being born 4 years after his father? I already shared it Carolina shared the Islam QA articles. You have to scroll up. I have already shared a video on it. Plus, Carolina has shared two Islam Q&A articles on it already in the live chat. Guys, like you guys are not check. And I when Carolina shared those articles, I had showed them on the screen as well. There you go. This is one, and there you go. This is two, and they both are already in the live chat. This is the second one. So guys, it's already there, and she is sharing it again. So guys, everything that we are stating nothing without the evidence, and the evidence that the Muslims scholars are giving. And here is the article, the video that I did, it's also there, which explains all of these things, and etc etc. So nothing that we say over here is without the sources. Everything is with the sources, guys. And brother Lloyd just shared another one. What is this, brother Lloyd?
Just my Microsoft OneNote database. If you click the link, it should just show up. You don't have to log in. You shouldn't need an account that's open without any login. It should just open in the browser. And the first tab is Muhammad, the seal of the prophets. I've got a bunch of other tabs as well, some other data which might be useful, but the very first one that you'll see on the left-hand side will be this one. And so you can download it. It's a Microsoft OneNote database. It's way too big. I mean, I can make it as a PDF, but it's going to be a very big, very long PDF because it's like
Oh, they
technically
can
it's
make a PDF out of it by themselves. That's not a
probably
problem.
hundreds of pages. It's meant to be viewed on your phone, on your laptop, your tablet. It's OneNote. OneNote is an app, and it also runs in the browser. It was too
Exactly.
big for PowerPoint.
So
Yeah.
guys, every link, every extract that is shown here has a link there where you can click on the link and go to the original source and verify and validate. So nothing over here is said without the authentic source which are present behind it. Even though the source which says the unverified, fabricated, what the famous unverified, what was the name?
Famous but unauthenticated stories from the Sirah of Muhammad. It's so
Yes.
funny.
So there are things that are famous and unverified, which which were hardly mentioned here, but there are a few things which are there, and it's also there whether you want to like it or not. But it's written by Muslimin. They are claiming it. They are unverified, but they are famous. So we are going to like it because they are famous. So we are accepting it. But once again, that's the reality of the situation, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Muslims have to deal with this. This is their own major scholars. Either their scholars are lying and in hell, or they believe this stuff and it's true, or they all contradict each other. So who's right? And I mean, they have to make up their theology is a mess. It's a complete and total mess. Now, there's a logic to it, but it's also completely crazy.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
yeah, the OneNote notes are yours, guys. It's public. I made it public. It's yours. Do what you feel like. It's all my notes are public. I give it away.
Yes, so we give it away so that you guys could talk to the Muslimin and bring them to the saving knowledge of Christ. This is why we are doing this. If we want to just come up and state things, it does not matter unless you use these documents, use these arguments, and speak with these Muslimin and bring them to the saving knowledge of Christ. That's the real purpose. And you can see currently, even now, my channel, they have multiple Muslimin. But when it comes to these kind of topics, when we bring up these things, they run away. They don't even message here. They run away because they know they do not have any saving location. They just cannot do anything. They know they have a problem, and they know the problem is so big they cannot run away from it. And that's the reality. What they can do is after we finish, they will send text in the description. That's what they will do. And brother Lloyd is laughing about it because he has faced the same thing.
No, it's Strong Tower says I didn't know that poop could be this funny. I mean, I didn't write this stuff, man. I didn't write it. It's their stuff. Like, good grief, this stuff is ridiculous. Stan says, "Can you please give it in PowerPoint?" Look, this is like hundreds of pages. Seriously, I'm not going to make a PowerPoint with hundreds of pages. So it's easier to just put it in OneNote, and it's in the cloud, and you can get it anywhere. You can download it.
Let me give him a project. Stan, use that information, put it in a PowerPoint, and then give it to us so that we could use it. How about that? So you do some work so that we could be better. See? There you go, brother. Do the work for us so that we could show it to the world, brother. So you want halwa, and then you want somebody to put it in a spoon and put it in your mouth as well? Come on, man.
Yeah,
Eat the halwa, but at least eat it yourself, man.
I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of pages of notes. I mean, and this one you saw. I mean, I'm only about halfway through my presentation on the notes I've collected on Muhammad, like this in the Sirah. I'm roughly one two thirds, halfway to two thirds through this. So there's a lot more. I mean, to imagine doing a PowerPoint presentation of this. It would take forever. It's easier to just do it in OneNote for this.
Exactly. And then, Truth Defender, you said it right. So all of them are going into hell.
Yeah,
Absolutely. If you believe in the Sunnah
yeah,
of Muhammad, then they are going to hell.
yeah. Exactly. No, they all, according to their own rules, they all go to hell, and that's in the Sharia as well, right? That's confirmed within the ijma of Islam.
Exactly. All right,
And
brother Lloyd. Sorry, you want
oh,
to say something, please?
no, no, we're good. We're good. Oh, well, actually, no. Why do you think they keep this secret? If Muhammad was this divine, this special, this miraculous, why the secrecy? Why don't they share this? Why do they hide it? Why the embarrassment?
Okay,
What do you think?
Mo Wajah says, Adam, can I join? I'm a Muslim, or should I join later? So Mo Wajah, you came at the very end. Did you watch the whole video? If you have not watched the whole video, if I bring you up now, you will want us to repeat whatever we said. So have you watched the video that we just did? If you did, I will bring you up right now. If you have not, watch the video and then tell me in description when do you want to come up and refute something, and we will go live specially for you. So tell me, have you watched the video? Yes or no? Or you just came? Because I haven't seen you before in my live chat. I just saw you. So once again, have you watched the video? Let's see. If he has watched the video, then I can bring him up right now. I watched 30 minutes of it and I was watching some of it. So, do you have an objection in something that I have said? We have said, me and Lloyd have said.
I mean, does he have a specific objection? Does he have something specific he wants to comment on? If he's
Yeah,
watched it, he should be able to tell us specifically, I don't like this. But I didn't write any of this stuff.
yeah,
These are
no,
Islamic sources from major scholars, modern and ancient.
yeah. So we will talk with him. So yes, what do you have the objection of?
Give me a specific objection or specific
And
problem you have.
if it is an objection where you need a counter argument, we'll bring you up right now.
And besides, he doesn't have a problem with us. He has a problem with his own scholars. He has a
Yeah,
problem
yeah,
with Aisha. He has a problem with Ibn Kathir because one of them's lying.
exactly. So he has a problem. Great. All right.
So understand, Islam wants you to focus on the Quran. The Quran, look, you need to understand the perspective here, but the Quran is the lowest level of knowledge in Islam. It is the lowest level. That's why lay Muslims are allowed to read it, right? And technically speaking, you as a kafir, it's illegal for you to possess any Islamic books whatsoever. You should not have any access to anything from Islam. Then the higher level of knowledge is reserved for the higher scholars of the ulama, and there are levels of ulama as well. So you should not know any of this stuff. But as I was saying earlier, why, if Muhammad was so miraculous, why do they never speak about it? Why don't they want to? Why don't they boast about it? Why don't they preach it and praise him? And why? What do you think? I mean, did you know about this stuff, Adam?
I knew a lot of it from different sources, not the exact sources, but like a lot of stuff are new for me. And I told you, yeah, this is really new for me as well, because you are doing research like, wow, you have all the sources, all the links. I have listened to a lot of these stuff in the mosques by the imams. without the sources, because when the imam says these things, they don't give you the exact sources. So I have listened to a lot of things, but like knowing the sources, knowing the exact location and all that, that makes it more authenticated that yes, what they were saying is the truth. And Mo Wajah, I have sent the live stream link like 5 minutes ago. You can join whenever you can. Otherwise, we'll close the stream in 5 minutes. So uh, these sources were are there, and they are proclaiming it the Muslim countries. Now the question would be, why are they not giving the same sources in the Western countries? Why are they rejecting them when it is being proclaimed in the Eastern countries?
Hmm. But if Muhammad is this special, why aren't they telling us? Why aren't they saying, "But look, we have this wonderful divine Muhammad with two natures, who the earth was made for him, the universe was made for him. His light shines in the world." Why aren't they telling us this? If he's so miraculous, if he's so amazing, why the secrecy? Why the silence? Why the
Because
shame?
they think that it's shameful and it's bad, because in the West they will be demolished with the argument.
Hmm.
It will be demolished by the arguments of the Westerner countries. In the East, you cannot say anything against Muhammad. You'll be put
Yeah,
to jail. You'll be scrutinized. The
we'll
mob
die.
will kick
Yeah.
you and punch you. So there, they shut up. Here, there is no red boundary that they create in the Eastern countries or Middle Eastern countries or Southeastern
The
countries.
red line, Yasser Qadi's red line. The
Uh-huh.
Westerners have no red line.
That red line is not present in the West. In the East, it is there. And that's the thing which is not causing them to say anything here, but it is allowing them to say it over there. You see? Okay, there you go. Let me show you the Far Cry, and we have this Muslim over here. So, Mr. Muslim Mo Wajah, speak. See, so this is so that is why I put this screen on top before bringing him up, and I can see what he just did. And that is why I know these are the spammers, idiots, son of guns, who does not know what to do. And see, now
What
he
did
is
he do?
bringing up. Oh yeah, yeah. He, I just removed him. I know I have seen this thing in the past. Let me ban him from the studio. I have seen this in the past, and that is why now I have a page that I show on the top, because one of his BASTARD already did in the past, and they showed a PORN,
Oh,
try to
okay,
block the whole thing. And that is why now I put a screen before I bring up a Momo follower. So he first
okay,
changed his name to a abusive words, huge abusive
okay,
word. Then now he was playing something else, and I just removed him. So this is how these
okay.
idiots do. So
Wow,
I'm trained now. I have been given training by these people how to bring them up on the stream and cover the screen before he speaks. So if he would have spoken, then we would have gone in a talk. And then you see, these are the idiots. They think I don't learn from one time. One time is more
yeah,
than enough. I learned, and I know what kind of a son of guns, a son of devils you guys are. So thank
disgusting,
you for showing me you are a true follower of Muhammad. Typical. Thank you, brother
disgusting.
Lloyd. Thank you, and sorry that I kept you a little longer, because we just exposed one more follower of Muhammad, who is a true follower of Muhammad in real essence.
Yeah, yeah. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for having me back on. I appreciate it, and I hope everyone learned something and something you can use in your debates. You can use in your apologetics and polemics.
Amen.
And
Thank you. And you have a lot of thanks from the followers, guys. The best thank is that you use it and you showed the people that they are in hell, they are in darkness. That would be the best thanks. So thank you all. Brother Lloyd, any last words before we close?
no, look, thank you again, guys. Please use this information, read it, use it. These are questions Muslims can't answer. That they need to accept. They need to deal with this. You know, you need to ask them. So if this is false, why is this being taught to millions of Muslims, and why are you doing nothing about it? They're hypocrites then. So understand, but this is genuine Islam. This is real Islam. Unless they're going to condemn Aisha as a liar or the scholars as a liar, because she condemns the scholars as liars, the scholars condemns her as a liar. Islam's a mess. And if they want to criticize Christianity, then you show them this and go like, okay, now how about your stuff?
Exactly. And thank you so very much for watching, because without lies, Islam dies. And we say in the end, Yeshua Akbarul Azim. God bless you all. Take care. Brother Lloyd is still learning how to say these.